Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Toad Talk Podcast. This is episode 22, and we're glad to be back for you here in the month of August 2nd. It's fabulous Sunday with a not so fabulous 91 degrees outside. It's been way hotter, but nevertheless, glad to have you guys here listening once again for another week of the amazing podcast. 22 episodes in now. That being said, we bring in our panel for this week. We have Grem coming back.
Hi, and it's only 73 degrees here since we're playing weather people in the start of the podcast today. Glad you told us.
No problem, no problem.
I would have worn my suit and everything, but no.
Yeah, no, sorry. We're not sponsored by the Weather Channel, but I would love to be sponsored by the Weather Channel. That'd be great.
Maybe one day, local on the 8s.
Yeah. If there ever is a need of a tornado reporter, I'm your guy.
Yeah, he's here.
I am definitely here. Roll your windows up. Azarain is here as well as our third guest for this week's podcast.
Hello, everyone. It is 88 degrees currently where I am at, nice and balmy with a humidity of 42%.
What the heck? How is it 3 degrees lesser for you when you're like 30 minutes away from me?
Stay mad, bro.
I am. I'm tired of these 90s. I want autumn here already. Anyways, now that you guys know how our weather is doing where we all live, now it's time for you to post in the comments where your weather is, where you live. Let us know down in the comments.
Don't post where you live, just put the temperature.
No, don't dox yourself.
Don't dox. Yes.
Yeah, and please, international viewers, give it to us in Fahrenheit. We don't do the Celsius stuff. Although, I guess we could since we play Phasmo.
Yeah.
That's how I learned Celsius was Phasmophobia. Can you believe it?
The wonders of video games, right?
For sure. Okay, well, before we get to anything else, I'm just going to really quickly go through some of the comments on last week's episode of the podcast. That was episode 21. And real quickly, we'll just skim down the comments that you guys all made last week on YouTube and Spotify. And we had James Raver saying you were so excited for Batman Caped Crusader. That was the what was it? The Amazon game, Luna game, I believe, that we covered last week. Kyle Diaz with the entry for the GTA 6. We had Grem RCWF. Have no idea who that is. Can't believe I forgot to do this after it was posted. Whoops. And that was actually 7 hours ago. Wow.
It was, but hey, I made it in time.
You did. You actually did. Signify came in to talk about when we were talking about Final Fantasy 14 last week. He said, I was cold out for Final Fantasy 14 ever cold, so I came with some ammunition for this. Ah, nice. So regarding Evercold, there was a fan festival this weekend in Berlin. It was the second of 3 this year. In April, we received preliminary info on the expansion. As in the name and release month, October 31st, there's a dog excited as I say this, by the way, in the background. In Tokyo, we'll get the full-fledged trailer and know the release date. You didn't see any gameplay footage in the trailer because they don't reveal any footage that way. We'll get snippets of battle actions during the panels, discussion during the expansion. Nothing gameplay-wise. They keep all of that as much a secret as they can. They did, however, show one of the new jobs in the trailer, which was a focal point of the players. Guy with basically gun shields on his arms, his new Bastion, and his tank job. Okay, so I think that was the guy you were commenting about last week, Grem, in the trailer. As for the story, it's easy to get lost in the fray. Jumping in what you saw, understand better, you have to have been playing since the beginning. Well, there you go. That answers one of the things that we were talking about last week, where there was literally no story for beginners. It's just like insinuating like, oh, if you've been playing, here you go. If you have not been playing, well, good luck. Have fun. While the storyline doesn't revolve around that necessarily, aside from gaining knowledge of the lore, it does revolve around current expansion, Dawn Trail. Evercold is a continuation of the saga that began during Endwalker to Fallen into Dawn Trail. Regarding X-Death, you fight him in an 8-man raid series during Stormblood. You also fight him in the newest Ultimate Raid featuring Kefka. Well, there you go. That's pretty cool. X-Death with Kefka together. That's a pretty sweet team, I would say. The only one missing that I would say is Cloud of Darkness. That would be like the holy trinity of Final Fantasy final bosses, I would say. Fuse for Spence said, congrats on the podcast moving to more platforms. Ammunition. Thank you, Spence. Regards to that, we have not hooked that up yet for iHeart Radio and I forgot the other one, the Amazon one, Audible, I think it's called.
Yes.
Okay. We'll get that. We'll try to get that hooked up this week. I know we were going to do that last week, but we had a lot of stuff come up, and we'll work on that this week. But thank you. DJ Bruce Nelson, that sounds okay. That comment sounds good to me. Alba Dragon, love the promotion for CPW site. Thank you so much. It took me a week to put that together. Thank you for saying that. It means a lot. Green Gamer Boy, Ammunition, Chain here as well. Another comment. Snake Kiddity, repeat viewer and listener. Thank you for coming back. Love the expansion of the podcast. Let's freaking go. Thank you, Snake Kitty. Appreciate that. Chris is a Deviant is back again. How excited are you guys for Spider-Man Brand New Day? I'm glad you asked us that because we are actually going to cover that on this podcast. So if you flick towards to the bookmarks down below, you can hear our thoughts on that a little bit later on in the podcast. Over on Spotify, Chris says, I'm not really feeling Krieger's Resident Evil because the trailer isn't doing it for me, and Weapons was one of the most disappointing theater experience I've ever had at the movies, but hopefully the film proves me wrong. And then Miles, also on Spotify, entering into the GTA 6 raffle for last week. So thank you guys for continuing to comment. Leave your comments on our podcast each and every week on YouTube and Spotify. We appreciate that very much. With that being said, we will move into our GTA 6 giveaway now, and we will go ahead and drop the special hashtag keyword for this week for the $100 grand prize GTA 6 Ultimate Edition on your platform of your choosing of Xbox or PS5. And that special hashtag is Candy Sucks with 3 X's. You know, the Jenna Jameson voice acted character from GTA Vice City. Probably my favorite character out of all of Vice City, and I hope she gets returns to GTA 6 as well, even though they said it's like a parallel universe or whatever with some Easter eggs thrown in. Bring back Candy Sucks, please. But yes, your hashtag for this week is hashtag Candy Sucks with 3 X's. Hashtag Candy Sucks to enter. And of course, the secondary prize is the standard edition of GTA 6, the $80 edition for a platform of your choosing. You can post this on YouTube and Spotify. Both comments count as an extra raffle per week. So you can comment on YouTube, then go over onto Spotify and comment over there as well. And you get 2 entries per week for the raffle for GTA 6 that will be in November. So good luck, everybody, and continue to leave those comments to enter into our giveaway. All right, we're going to move over to Bring Your Own News, and I will be up first. And I'm just going to quickly bring to the table that I will be attending QuakeCon 2026 a little bit later this week. It takes place in Dallas, Texas. If you want to be more specific, it's actually in Grapevine, Texas. It starts August 6th and lasts through the 9th. I will probably be going down there the night before or the day before on Wednesday, and I'll be there on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'll probably be heading back home late Saturday night. So you can expect some streams on my Twitch live stream and maybe even on the YouTube at Croakitoad. Check me out Thursday, Friday, Saturday this upcoming week live from QuakeCon. I believe I've been going since 2011 or so. Every time we go down there, it's always a lot of fun, and we always have a blast. And you just stream there in the giant BYOC room is what they call it. Bring your own computer. It's a giant LAN room. I believe they call it the biggest LAN party in North America. That's right. You'll be hearing a lot of that as well. One of the catchphrases of the BYOC room, where there's thousands of gamers on their computers just playing whatever they want as a part of clans or individuals or whatever. This year is going to be probably our smallest grouping ever. But I'm still going to go. I'll still represent, and hopefully they'll drop some in-house news for us on the Fallout remasters for us in-house, and still get some swag from the convention and stuff. And I'll probably be doing a documentary footage of my trip down there and back as well that you can check out here on the YouTube as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But yep, QuakeCon is coming up this weekend. I'm not as enthused as normal years because a lot of people are not going that usually go. So, but I'm still going to go. Still going to be fun. I'm sure there will be fun moments down there. And hey, I'll get to see Wizard Boz. So there you go. But yeah, that's my Bring Your Own News. Grem, what are you bringing to the table this week?
Well, I could do the thing that I'm known for and, bring food to the table. But, I won't do that this week. Maybe
You're
next
not?
week. No, I haven't done it for over a month. And yet every single time it's my turn, you guys are like, oh, you're not bringing up food. So, okay. I see how it is. But because it's National Friendship Day today, and of course,
Oh my goodness.
I'm with my friends currently right now in this call, and we're doing a podcast,
so
and I have
cheesy.
the community. Hey, I'm bringing it to the table, all right? I could have brought food. I could have brought National Ice Cream Sandwich Day, okay? But at least I did something better.
Wait,
than
is
that.
it really that too?
It is. Yes, it
Oh
is.
my god. Jeez.
Nonetheless, today, and even if you're listening to this, say hi to your friends, and share a smile, tell a joke, whatever you have to do. Even if you're not listening to it on National Friendship Day, friends is an amazing thing to have. So, and that's why I love our community a lot. So, this day goes out to them as well.
Happy National Friendship Day, everyone.
Yay!
Azarain, what are you bringing to the table this week?
Oh, I am super excited to bring something to the table this week. For many of you that may not know about Final Fantasy XI, it is the original MMO to Final Fantasy XIV that we were just talking about last week. But this week, a private server known as Horizon XI is releasing the expansion Treasures of At Ergen this coming Friday. Brand new jobs, brand new area to explore, lots of things, lots of new content. If you haven't ever played Final Fantasy XI and you're thinking about giving it a try, this would be the time to do it, because there's going to be a huge resurgence in players. There's going to be new players. It's going to be big.
I know we were talking about this before we went live, and I was just saying how awesome it is that the community has kept this game alive after all these years upon its initial release. It's very impressive.
Yes, I believe it was 2007 when this game first came out. So we're talking almost 20 years this game has been going.
I know the biggest comparison I can make to that is like and we talked about this a few episodes in the podcast ago, was the whole GTA 5, how the people have, I think you were on that episode last, actually. We were talking about how people with like the Fiverr and all that have kept the GTA 5 servers alive with the custom role-playing servers and stuff. And that kind of reminds me of the Final Fantasy 11 stuff, where like the community kind of takes over and gives it a new breath of fresh air to keep it going.
Yes, absolutely. 5M being just full of different mods that people establish. They're working hardcore with Rockstar right now, either for GTA 6 multiplayer or for a dedicated 6M type server thing that is more official, so to speak. They are hand in hand with Rockstar right now. It's gonna be big.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not. Is it called Fiverr, or is that like a brand of it? I'm not familiar with any of it.
It's called 5M, as in GTA 5 modded.
Oh, okay. I don't know where I got Fiverr from. Anyways, we're gonna move on to our gaming news now. And our first trailer up is a game called Starsand Island, and looked really interesting from the trailers. This is straight from the IGN YouTube. We'll take a look at this and give our thoughts. Starsand Island.
Welcome to my island vlog. It's me, Solara. Here on the island, everything just slows down for you. And the best part is,
the alpaca got out again!
coming!
I can hear the chimes singing to us in the night on the starlight in a midsummer sky. Sort of fizzing sounds like a melody
Solara? On my way! Organic watermelons delivered right to your door. Chilled and shipped anywhere on the island. Fresh veggies delivered in a flash. Just $9.99, and your Starsand getaway starts right now.
Roll around the sand of the midsummer mist, and my eyes are slowly melting too. When you finally look into my eyes, you be reflected in me, and rhythm of my heart over you. On a summer night with the flowers blooming, glitter in the glow of the fireflies, twinkle in the light of a burning sky. The
Time never stops. But once you find your own pace, your heart will settle down. That's the real magic.
That's the real magic. Starsand Island, very anime, very kawaii. Take a look at the release date trailer for Starsand Island, a life simulation RPG developed by Seed Sparkle Lab. Players will live out the calm country life in Starsand Island, explore the sites, create relationships, and engage in a variety of activities such as home building, decorating, seasonal festivals, cooking, and more. Starsand Island is launching on August 18th for PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch 2 and PC. Did it mention anything on here about there being multiplayer? I'm assuming there is with a game like this, but it didn't really make any effort to show multiplayer, did it?
I'm gonna interject here just to say that during the little scenes where they're kind of watering the crops and then fighting the monster, you can see that there are multiple people
Is there?
active in the mini map at least.
Oh, okay. I don't know, like if those were like NPCs, but okay. Because usually you see like names over other players. You know, that's like typical online UI behavior, but you don't see that here. But
Yeah, you see it somewhat on the left where you can kind of see like Orion and Sunny. But I don't know if that's like your character with the other. I mean, I'm just kind of.
yeah, I see that now. 1 player, 2 player.
Yeah.
With like an internet network symbol next to them. So maybe it is multiplayer.
Yeah.
But that's really weird that they're not like kind of like clarifying that for a change. Usually games will like tell you like this is a co-op multiplayer game. This is how many players, but this one doesn't. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing about it. The graphics are obviously really cool. I like the whole anime style. This will really appeal to those people out there that love the anime style of graphics and their video games. The sense of adventure and being able to do all kinds of different stuff, from fishing to shopping to building your house to just exploring the town, interacting with the other NPCs in the village. There's seasonal events. You got snowing, you got fall, you got daytime, not nighttime. You got clothing, cosmetics as well. I mean, it's pretty much anything. Farming, you pretty much got everything you could ask for in a game like this. You got like crafting, you got, you know, collecting stones, rocks, pickaxes, stuff like that while you're fighting creatures as well. They're shown in this trailer fighting a particular type of animal that I'm sure one of our panelists will really enjoy. But yeah, overall, this looks pretty fun. My question is like, what differentiates this game coming out than any other game that's like this that's already out? Like, if you're going to enter this world of gaming, this genre where it's like this, you have to stand out and get people to stop playing what they've been playing and play your game, because the sense of freshness and newness is going to wear off eventually. What is the staying power for this game? A game like this, that is a game like this. Does this game have it? I think with the anime style look and design and the cuteness of it, I think it should go a ways away just with how it looks and stuff. But really, that's all I can really comment on just based on this release date trailer. But I would definitely give this a shot. Looks like fun. I think it would be fun with friends, just exploring and going around, checking things out and exploring the whole like anime environment and stuff. This is coming out August 18th. So we're about 2 weeks away from release on all major platforms. I'm really interested to see how this one, the release on it is, if it's going to be an overwhelming success, or is it going to be a slow burn, or is it just going to fall on its face? So from the looks of it, very intriguing. I would definitely play this. The cuteness levels there. And I just wish they put more emphasis on how many players you get to play with on the multiplayer side, because I think that really makes or breaks a game like this, is people being able to know like how many players you can bring into your realm, your server to play with and go explore. And then the details beyond that in terms of playing with your friends. So
that's where I have on it. Grim, what are your thoughts on Starsand Island here? Does this look appealing to you? And what are your thoughts about that fight scene?
I was watching it and I'm like, okay, and then I saw the fight scene and I'm like, that they're using slingshots on a turtle. How dare they? That's not nice at all. At the same time, too, this also gives me a lot of like Animal Crossing vibes when it comes to, you know, seems like you're doing a lot of chores and doing a lot of things for everyone else, and it kind of, I'll be honest with you, for a game that's supposed to like potentially calm you down, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm at work all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, we need this, oh we need this, oh we're out of this, oh what do I do this, and just I'm like, okay, this is definitely not my cup of tea, sadly, for a game where I just want to kind of just chill and relax and not be stressed over like 15 people telling me, hey, I need something done. At the same time, too, I know you kind of touched base on the weather. I always, and this is kind of a hard thing, at least for me personally, when it comes to that, but I know that they changed the weather due to like what real life is. And I love fall and winter. I love fall and winter. But when it goes away because it's spring or summer and you're playing a video game and it just changes because it's actually real life, it bugs me a little bit because it's like I want it to be like, oh yeah, you know, it's like 90 plus degrees and all of a sudden you pop into this game and all of a sudden you see like snow. It kind of cools you a little bit off. You're like, oh yeah, I wish it was snowing right here. But you did bring up a good point too. This game doesn't really have too much in terms of like what makes it different from any other type of sim game like this, except for the fact that it's, you know, it's 3D, it's very anime-ish. You can customize your character, it looks like, a lot, but that also probably might bleed into microtransactions as well, which is also another thing we gamers have to deal with every single day. I don't know. I mean, it does look cute, though. I will give it that. But it did seem like you do a lot in this game. Like, there's a lot going on. And for just a cozy game that you might want to just sit down and relax, this one might not be for you. But if you're looking for something where it's a fast real life sim kind of deal where, you know, you want to try to help out as many people as you can, this might be like, and it keeps you going. Like, you have something to do. It seems like every moment in this game, rather than just kind of sitting back and going, you know what, I just feel like just watering my crops today. This game has that, at least it looks like, a lot to do.
Yeah, I like the fact that you touched on the whole weather dynamic thing, because when it's like, as we go back to the weather report again, 90 degrees outside for me, the last thing I want to do is hop into a video game and it's like steaming hot in the video game too. It's like, man, if I want to experience this, I would just go outside. Sometimes if it's like steaming hot outside, I'm going to go like into a cloudy, overcast, rainy area to get my mind off of how freaking steamingly hot it is outside, or snow or something like that. So while I think the changing in the weather is cool based on your local area, I think that's pretty nifty, pretty cool dynamic. I think that does backfire a little bit as well. Azurine, what are your thoughts on Starsand Island?
So for me, for Starsand Island, I'm getting a lot of anime 3D style Stardew Valley. Which that game is also very cozy. There's a lot to do, but you don't always have to do everything whenever. I don't know how focused they're going to be on, you got to do this, you got to do that, whatever. Most of this type of game, it's just, okay, so here's 800,000 things, but you don't have to focus on all those. Just do one or two, whatever, if you like. One thing that I saw in the trailer that I absolutely thought was interesting was that you could build your own house. I absolutely love games that allow you that type of customization. Like, I was a sucker for a game called Legend of Neverland on mobile because it allowed me to build my own base, so to speak. It's a gacha, it's addicting, and of course it's gonna open up my wallet and give me, here, let me give you all this so I can make my base better. And that's really what I focused on entirely, and that was just base building. I loved it. It was fantastic, and that's exactly the vibes that I got from Starsand Island. Now I'm looking through this, and there's already DLCs ready and available, even though the game isn't out, and it's furniture, fashion, vehicles, things like that.
Ooh, okay.
So we're looking at kind of a Sims style DLC. Little hesitant to pick it up. It is looks like it's going to be $27.88, $28.27 with a bundle of Island Forest cabin furniture. So it's looks like it might be priced just a little high. It might be a little too Sims in terms of microtransactions, but overall, I kind of like the vibes, and I kind of feel like it's a very cozy game that I might fall in love with, type thing.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but what you're looking at, does it mention anything about like the co-op or multiplayer capabilities or the amount of people or anything like that?
Okay, yes, I am on the Steam page, actually, and I just looked down, and it says single player.
What?
So that makes it go from about a 7 in interest to about a 3 to maybe 2. Because, little like that boss battle and some of these gardening things absolutely would be awesome with friends. But single player, I've got Pal World for that.
Yeah, and Disney Dreamlight would also be another game too, that if you really wanted to like play a single player game, it would be just scratch the same itch as this game. So
I probably wouldn't go as harsh as you guys would on it. I immediately, it's funny how my brain works when games like this. I immediately flicked from, okay, I could play this with the Croakitoad community and we'd all have fun just messing around on this, to like the shock of, oh, it is single player. And then my brain immediately toggled to single player mode. I'm like, okay, well, I could play this on the Xbox and go for all the achievements then. So I may not look at it as harshly as you guys, is like, now I'm like into like achievement mode. Now I'm like, okay, well, I could play the single player and I could go for all the achievements now. So
there are 75 achievements for this game.
Ooh, okay. I'll have to take a closer look at that achievement list, see if that'd be something I'd be interested in tackling. Because yeah, the way the cosmetic thing, DLCs thing is already going out, I don't know about that. But we shall see. We shall see. Starsand Island coming out in about 2 weeks. All right, our next game on the video game block is a game that I'm familiar with, the original anyway, and I felt like it was only a matter of time before they released the sequel, like they did with the first game. But we'll take a look at Croc 2, Kingdom of the Gobbos, coming out.
Totally.
All right, that is Croc 2, Kingdom of the Gobbos. I had a feeling that this was going to come out eventually after they remastered the original game, which was Legend of the Gobbos. And that was a game that I played for the very first time. I was never familiar with Croc growing up. I had heard of it through peers and gaming, but I've never really played it or touched it or really knew much about it. And then once the remaster came out for the Xbox Series X, that's when I finally dove in for the first time. I actually streamed that experience on my Twitch channel, and I went for all the achievements in it, of course. And I thought it was a pretty enjoyable game. They did a good job, like remastering the controls, making the quality of life a little bit better on some of the things. Some of the achievements that they tacked on towards the end with their last minute update they did, where they added like 10 achievements after the fact with like a patch thing, were a little bit annoying, but we got through them, got it done. Specifically like beating certain levels in under a time limit and stuff like that. I don't really like speed run achievements because that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But I did in fact get all the achievements in it. And so I'm familiar with Croc. So when I saw this come up, which was released actually about 3 days ago, I was like, well, I just had a feeling that this was going to happen. But the synopsis of this is Croc 2 Kingdom of the Gobbos will feature enhanced visuals, quality of life improvements, over 40 levels that expanded 3D platforming, including new traversal mechanics like triple jumping vehicles and aerial gameplay. Remaster will also introduce Croc2pedia, an in-game digital museum featuring never-before-seen development materials, cut content, developer interviews. Croc sets up for a mainland in search of his long-lost parents. However, his journey comes showdown for his arch-nemesis, Baron Dante, is resurrected by the Dantinis and vows revenge. Croc's quest takes him through 4 distinct villages where he rescues captured Gobbos and faces off against a roster of guardians, including Sovina the Squid, whose obsession with the ginger soda makes her a menace to contend with. Yeah, okay. Croc 2 Kingdom of the Gobbos will be available on Nintendo Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, and PC on Steam and GOG in Q4 2026. So a few months from now, Croc 2 coming out. Again, I thought my first experience with this and the first remaster was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. It definitely gave that old school platformy feel of games from like the PS1 era for sure, but with that remastered touch of a little bit of quality of life on it. And yeah, I just, it was fun to just say, you know, I played Croc and I got all the achievements in it. Now I guess I have to look forward to doing the sequel now for when it comes out in a few months on the Xbox Series X. Grem, do you have any experience with Croc? Do you know anything about it? Did you ever play it or watch it in action or anything? And is this old timey retro platformy style of game here something that appeals to you at all?
I wish I did, but I didn't really play this back in the day. I'm glad that they pretty much kind of kept it pretty much retro looking. It feels very bright too. Even in some of the darker areas, it's still, to me, when I was watching the trailer, looked very, very bright. I'm worried that it's a little too retro for some people. Obviously, this is catering to kind of our age group, but you also want to kind of make it so that other people, you know, the younger group, could appreciate this game too. And I think they did a really good job with this. It looks really, really good. And I kind of wish I had more on it, except for, like, I guess the boss is the boss is a toad or frog or pirate, it looks like. He kind of croaked.
I don't actually know. Maybe someone in the comments can fact check that. But he was the boss in the original game, so you had to fight him there, and I guess they're bringing him back for the sequel as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like how Spyro and everything, Crash Bandicoot, things like that. We have a lot of platforming, and it seems like it's got some challenges, but it's not too challenging. And it looks like also it's going to have, because it is a remaster, it's going to have long gameplay value as well, which is good. We miss that kind of stuff when it comes to games like this. So, yeah, I'll definitely be kind of wish listing it and kind of checking it out for sure.
Azarain, do you have any experience with the Croc franchise at all? And is this something that appeals to you at all?
I actually do not have any experience with the Croc series. Unfortunately, it was released during the time frame of Banjo-Kazooie, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, all these platforming mega powerful things, and Croc is just coming along, and it's just more of the same thing. It was like, I've got these already. Do I really need to pick up Croc at this time? But honestly, I feel like I've missed out watching this trailer. I do know that Croc has a cult following for nostalgia, and I'm sure they're excited. I will probably check it out just because it's back in my wheelhouse of games, of collective 3D collectathons. Absolutely love those. I just 100%ed a Hat in Time not too long ago myself. But overall, one that I missed out on, one that I kind of want to look into, but it also at the same time feels like some of the things, whatever, because it's got go-kart racing, boat racing, collectathon. It's got all of those things that were popular back in the day, all kind of condensed into one. So it feels like it doesn't have as big of an identity as, say, Donkey Kong 64. Overall, though, absolutely, I want to check it out.
Yeah, if the first game's any indication, then it should be a pleasurable experience just to get through this. And again, they tackled one of the biggest issues that I felt like the original games had was the control system and the camera operation. You're mostly fighting the camera a lot in the original games, which is typical for games of this ilk during that time for a lot of games. Even the Spyro camera back then could be really treacherous, but they fixed those kind of issues with this remaster, and I think that was the biggest thing, because I just hate those N64 style games where you are stuck with the camera the way it is and you can't rotate it around like modern day games. They do not translate well with me when I go back and try to play those games, and they did a good job of fixing that issue with the first one. So I hope they learned a little bit from the first remaster and apply some more quality of life improvements on this. And I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely be checking this one out and trying to go for all the achievements in this one as well. All right, we're going to move on to our next game. This one is called Dinosaurs of the West. This is an official Kickstarter trailer through IGN, released 3 days ago. So we'll take a look at this and see what it's about.
The frontier wasn't built on horses and steel. Dinosaurs carried our towns, fought our wars, ruled the skies. For generations, we shaped this world together. Not one without the other. But now, something is rising. A force that believes the future belongs to neither man nor beast. This time, extinction may not be natural.
Okay, well, this is part of the things of not really looking at things and watching it blind for the podcast to get our raw initial reactions, is the fact that I actually thought this was a video game, and when in fact it's actually a two-part filming series that is under Kickstarter right now. So we kind of moved a movie thing into our video game block, but it's cool. We'll keep it the way it is. This is very interesting. I don't believe... I'm sure it's happened at some point, but cowboys and Western plus dinosaurs, has that ever happened? Ever? Maybe in a video game? Maybe? But two very intriguing ideas there together for the first time. I would say when I was watching this, the graphics look... Some of the graphics you can tell are like, but a lot of the time these graphics are actually really good. I was actually impressed, to the point where I was still thinking this was a video game. And I was like, wow, holy crap, these graphics, it like threw me for a loop for a second. I was like, whoa, this is actually a video game? But no, this is actually going to be a filming mini series. And the synopsis is that it's set in an alternate 1879. Dinosaurs of the Wild West imagines a frontier where humans and dinosaurs built civilization together. Massive brontosaurs haul entire towns across the plains. Raptors are ridden into battle. Pterosaurs rule the skies. The series follows pioneers, outlaws, and adventurers navigating a dangerous land where every journey and every town, every war depend on the giant creatures that shape civilization itself. It's pitched as House of the Dragon meets Tombstone. And so there you go. Dinosaurs of the Wild West. And it is... Let me take a look here. Okay, 2-part cinematic event. And it is now funding right now on Kickstarter. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean, I'm a fan of Westerns. I do like me some Westerns. I got to be in the mood for them, but I do like them. And I mean, come on, everyone loves dinosaurs, especially when they look like this. Really cool. I wish they kind of showed a little bit more of like the plot of what the story is going to be about, because all you really get here is just like, yeah, we get it. It's the Wild West. There's deserts. There's dinosaurs helping the humans. But what is the like actual story here? Like you just get like the groundwork of what the movie, the 2-part series is, but like who's the antagonist, who's the protagonist, what's the theme, what's the plot, what's going on here? Otherwise, you just get some Wild West landscapes, a couple of cowboys, and some dinosaurs standing next to them. So what exactly is going on here? So that'd be the only thing that I would say, and I'm sure they're going to reveal more of that in future trailers coming up. For this trailer, I'm sure they just wanted to ooh and awe everybody with what the graphics look like, and just the mere premise of having Western cowboys riding around on dinosaurs together just to get people's attention. And I'm sure in a way that really got turned a lot of heads. I'm actually curious what their Kickstarter campaign is at right now. But yeah, this is a very interesting premise, putting 2 themes together that you don't really ever see. Grim, what do you think about this? Is this something that seems pretty cool to you? And are you just as shocked as I was that, okay, this is actually not a video game? And when did that kick in for you?
Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. You know, it's funny because when I first saw like the first like screen and I saw the flying dinosaur, if you will, it's because it didn't look like pterodactyl. I was like, this isn't a video game. I was like, this can't be a video game. So I was kind of on the fence right from the jump, and it was kind of funny because I was thinking about that. I was like, this isn't a video game. Anyways, this isn't really somewhat new for movie genres to try to mix in cowboys with whatever. I mean, heck, we've had cowboys and aliens, for example, for a movie. So it's not anywhere like newish, but it hasn't been done in a while. A lot of people, just kind of think you can just mix cowboys with anything. It's weird because you're looking at like dinosaurs, and Triceratops is my favorite, by the way, in case you were kind of curious on what dinosaur is my favorite, Triceratops. But it's funny how this kind of takes away like horses, and now you have like dinosaurs, like they're either riding dinosaurs or flying dinosaurs, and I just don't know how, like, what would be the story, like you had mentioned. What could very well be the story? I know they obviously show the T-Rex. I can't wait to see one like try to draw the pistol from the side of its hip. That'll be fun. But it's not been it's been done before in terms of like cowboys mixing up or westerns, and it's wild because, like, for example, like the good, the bad, and the ugly and everything. A lot of westerns back in the day were really, really good, including like television shows like Gunsmoke, right? Like it's hard to kind of capture that magic again. So I really feel like the cowboy or western genre is pretty much kind of been stuck, and that's why you see these cross references between one thing or another. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind looking at it and watching it, just to kind of see. And you said it was a 2-part, so I'm assuming it's going to be a movie. But I mean, I guess we'll see. With CGI and everything, it's going to make it look really, really good. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, some of the scenes look really, really good, like really super realistic, and then some of them are like, eh. So it's a little half and half for me on some of them, but I'm sure they'll have plenty of time to kind of patch that up a little bit as time progresses for their Kickstarter thing. Azarain, what are your thoughts on this? Did you at any point think this was actually a video game, or did you immediately know that this was going to be like some sort of cinematic movie? For me, it took me a while, like all the way almost to the end, to finally realize, oh, this is not actually going to be a video game.
Well, I was pulling things up to research while watching this and immediately saw the IMDb of it. So I managed to pull up that it was a TV series. It's going to be a mini TV series. It looks interesting.
Do you know where it's going to be available? Is it just YouTube or?
It doesn't say at this time. It's still being Kickstartered and everything like that. Like they've got a few people starring in it, but they don't have names or anything like that yet. George Kittle, a 49ers tight end, is going to be the star actor at this point with his own dinosaur, probably the gentleman riding the Velociraptor with the lasso, or the T-Rex that we're seeing right now on screen.
Yeah.
Martin Covey and Jesse Covey, father and son duo from Cobra Kai, will also be making splash in this as well as Rachel Pizzolatto from Mythbusters Jr. I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure I butchered that name, and I'm sure people are excited to hear that name. And she is going to be portraying someone named the Heiress. So that is all that is kind of like right there. IMDb doesn't even have a whole lot on it. But just kind of looking through certain things, I managed to pull this information up.
Okay. I'm actually pulling up the Kickstarter right now because I want to see where they're at. Okay, they've got basically 1,900 backers. They are at 256K out of their 350K goal. So they're 3/4 of the way there. There's only 3 days to go. So we'll see what happens there. But a lot of people have backed this. They raised $256,000 for it. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully within 3 days they can match that. And we'll definitely keep our eyes on this and see if they actually fulfill this. And we'll report back on this next week. Looks like it's being filmed in Australia as well. Just as an added bonus there on the information there. But yeah, you can check this out on the Kickstarter. It's called Dinosaurs of the Wild West. And their Kickstarter campaign is up right now. 3 days if you want to jump in on it. They are very close to doing it. Again, they're about 3/4 of the way in, so we'll see if they can do it. All right, even though that was should have been in the movie block, we do have one more game we're going to do before we get to our actual movie block, which contains one movie. And this was a game that Grem actually brought up a long time ago that he wanted us to check out, and I don't know what happened. I guess it just got flooded by the other stuff we were talking about. But this is a unique co-op builder extraction horror game called Grain Rot, and we're going to check this out. Trailer was released 3 days ago through IGN.
Welcome to the outpost of the Scorch. You are a builder. You might have noticed it's a little hot around here, so you may want to avoid too much sun. Oops, no worries, just needs a new body. We tend to have a lot of fun around here. We've got bedrooms, a couch, a blueprint machine thing, and a shop. Hey there. Right now, your outpost probably looks more like this. Amazing what a little scrap from downstairs can do. If you think you might be running low on scrap, just take this incredibly safe elevator down to a variety of destinations. Then, you need to find scrap. Every deep layer comes furnished with a grinder. You throw valuable objects into the grinder to get coins, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, a friend!
Huh, it's a baby. the outpost of the Scourge cannot be held responsible for mounting fear, shrapnel damage, overexertion, equipment failure, singed eyebrows, nor freaking clowns.
All right, so that's looking a little bit like Lethal to me. One thing really stuck out. Let me go back to that real quick, because I gotta. Yeah. Okay, I thought so. You got a big main hall with a red carpet in the middle, with a giant staircase going up, and an emphasis on red and white colors, and dimly lit candles on the walls. Wonder what that could be an inspiration to. I don't know. Someone tickle my my Resident Evil fandom funny bone there. But yeah, this looks pretty interesting. It's definitely got that sense of humor. Definitely the multiplayer aspect. Let me just check out the synopsis real quick here. It's called Grain Rot, of course, a unique co-op builder extraction horror game that puts you and your friends inside the bodies of highly flammable wooden robot bodies on a scorched planet. Descend into the depths of your outpost and fight your way through creepy, corrupted in order to safely make it back to the surface to cash in your loot upgrade for your outpost. Grain Rot will launch on Steam on August 7th. So about, 5 days from now. Wish listed if you're interested. All right, let's take a look at the Steam page here. Of course, naturally, it's already on my Steam wish list, and I completely forgot about it. And it says, does it say how many players it is? Let's see. Come on, how many people? Co-op extraction horror. I don't see.
I want to say maybe 4.
Yeah, probably 4. Yeah, doesn't exactly say how many players. It's always something that's I always pay attention to just to know. But we'll just say at least 4. I do like the idea of every time you go down, it's a different setting. It's like a different kind of dungeon. The enemy types look really interesting. See this floating witch doctor guy here, wizard boss guy. You got the little baby that stabs you. It's pretty cool. The fact that you can leave your players behind and go up the elevator always brings a sense of, leaves your imagination wondering what you could do to your friends in that sense, in that regard, leaving them behind like I did on Peak that one time. Against Jen Von Lee and everybody. Yes, I did that. But yeah, this looks really cool. Again, it's already on my wish list. I would love to try this out with a bunch of friends and see how it goes. The one thing I was really curious about is like, what is like the punishment for this? Like if you die repeatedly, because we know in Lethal Company, like you have a deadline. You have like 4 or 5 attempts to reach the threshold. And if you don't, you're fired. You get extracted out into space. When in Repo, it's the same thing. You have a time, basically a time limit, or a certain amount of tries to be able to reach that money threshold. And if you don't get it, your game's over. Your run's over. You have to restart again. So what is it on this one? Is it the same thing? You have like 5 days to raise a certain amount of money to upgrade your base, or like what? It doesn't really show that aspect of it. You did get this merchant here in your base that I guess you buy the supplies from and stuff, but it doesn't really tell you like if you is there no punishment? Is it just like an endless game and you just keep building on? Surely there's something detrimental to the runs to make you lose if you don't meet certain criteria, but it doesn't really, as far as I saw, really tell you anything about that. But otherwise, looks really fun. I would definitely love to try this out with friends and just let the hilarity ensue. There's so many different variables to this. I love it. It seems like every time you go down there, it's always going to be a different experience, kind of like Lethal Company. When you have it stacked full of mods, you never know what's going to happen when you enter inside that building and what's going to be waiting for you, lurking around the corners in there, because it's always a new experience. This looks like of the same ilk. And I like the robots. The robots seem really cool. But I really like the different kind of enemies that they showed in this as well, that can RNG appear on you. And I'm sure they didn't show everything because they don't want to spoil everything. So that alone makes me interested to see what else is waiting for you down in the catacombs, I guess you could say, the different kinds of catacombs in this game. Grem, this was your suggestion for us to bring it here on the podcast to begin with. What are you thinking about this? Do you think this holds up against like games like Lethal Company and Repo that have been out for a while? And do you think this could be the new one that comes out, the new game that kind of takes over?
So I'm glad you brought up Repo. I was going to actually suggest that this game, because I demoed it a little bit on this game. This game feels like Repo a lot, except that you can actually fight back. To answer your question about like the penalty, the penalty really is that you lose out on the run and you have to start, the run again. When I played the demo, there was kind of quests to do. So they kind of step you in the right direction. I didn't play for very long though on the demo, but again, you have complete this quest, do this, build this, things like that. From what I understand though, like I said, the punishment would be that you just don't get any of the credits that you need to start building and making it a little bit more quality of life kind of deal. Another thing to kind of touch up on as well is that when you are dead, you become a spirit. You can inhabit it like another mech, or as you saw kind of in the trailer, you can actually like do stuff to help your team to try to get them to extract with at least something rather than nothing. And then that's where that repo aspect comes in, where you're trying to extract X amount of money to kind of proceed to the next level. In this one, it's pretty much to buy gear, to upgrade stuff in the house, and just kind of go from there. So yeah, the game is really, really fun. I think though this does do a different spin on it. Like, oh man, we lost everything. We're not going to be able to progress to a game where you actually feel like you're progressing. Now, again, eventually you're going to hit a wall, and you're like, well, I've done like everything I wanted to do. Everything is good. And like, what do you do now? Like, you're going to be overpowered. So there is a downside to something like that with this game, but it does seem like a lot of fun with a lot of, with friends for sure. I did also look up to it. It is up to 4 players for co-op. So, it gives you a chance to kind of build something. And to have fun with your friends and potentially betray them. Not that we would do that around the Croakitoad community or anything of that nature. No, not at all. Not at all. I did not know about the Resident Evil little thing that you saw at the very end. I thought it was funny too, because I was thinking it, and then you brought it up. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. But yeah, I think this game could be a lot of fun. It could be fun to just kind of to play with. If you want to just try to like progress with friends and everything, just want to kind of lay back, but have a little fun, a little challenge. And again, the randomness for each level when you go down there is nice, or it's not like it's the same level over and over. Like Repo and Lethal Company, you don't know what. I mean, well, within reason, Lethal Company you can kind of pick and choose, but you only have like 3 choices to choose from. Whereas this one, you just go down there and you're like, okay, well, here we go. So I don't know. Like I said, it was a game that I had saw kind of showcased, or I wanted to showcase it a little bit, and like I said, got to demo it a little bit. It was fun. It kind of gave you that little like Western vibe because of how sandy it is outside, and you can't go out there because it'll just burn you. So you have to go down rather than go outside. So it should be something that we can definitely take a look at. I don't know if it will stick, because again, it's only 4 people. If they modded it like Peak, where you can add a bit more, I think that would help us, like as a community, for our community especially, to kind of grow and have a little more fun. But that also might make it too easy. So it is something that we'll have to try and see if it, at least give it a run to see if it would be one of the ones that we would kind of put into our multiplayer block. But if you like something where it's not going to be as punishing, and you really want to build something and you feel like you're progressing, this game has a good chance of providing that.
All right. Azarain, what are your thoughts here on Grain Rot?
I get to drop kick people.
Yes.
What more do I need to say? No, but seriously, watching the trailer, it looks like a whole lot of fun. Yeah, it will eventually get stale. It's one of those games where you're trying to get your money's worth out of progression, and when you feel comfortable, you feel like you've done enough, it's probably going to be time to play something else, especially with only 4 players at a time. But being able to see those big bads and be like, you know what? No, I want to drop kick you and do a an Orlando thing, with the rafters. You got that one enemy that's like jumping at you from the rafters. I'm just gonna drop kick him and I'm shoot him off the rafters like you were in An Orlando in Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta love that. Gotta love sending enemies plummeting to their death in whatever fashion that you can do. That's for sure. I love doing that, and I especially love doing that to my fellow players in the game as well. So that's always an added extra bonus, like right there, bam, drop kick. Yeah, I could imagine me totally doing that to somebody and doing that while they're in the elevator, drop kicking them out of the elevator and leaving them behind. Or actually, no, I would never do that. What am I talking about? No, I'm not trying.
Sure you wouldn't.
No.
All right, well, that's Grain Rot. Certainly on our list. It's already on my wish list, but we'll give it a shot and see what it's like. Hopefully, we can try it with a full stack. And I think to answer the elephant in the room on this thing is the fact that it kind of just tells you that like you're just upgrading your base, and then that's basically all there is to it. I think what they could do is like allow you to like you have to give the player a sense of like continued achievement, because once you reach a certain point, it's just like you're playing it for the fact of playing it at that point. Kind of like Peak in a way, but what's cool about Peak is that it's just a different experience each time, and you get to play with more people. So each time you play through, it's a different experience. That kind of works for itself. But when the goal is to like leave the thing to chop up the supplies and get enough coins to go back and build, what happens when you build everything there is to build? You know what I mean? Like at some point there's a brick wall there. So I think what would probably be good is like maybe being able to like upgrade your base in itself from like a little tiny shack to like a bigger shack to like kind of a house, a 2-bedroom house to like ultimately you get to like a mansion or something that you get to upgrade with enough coins, and then you can like decorate it and stuff. And I think that would actually add a little bit to it for like the replayability, because from what the trailer looks like for right now, you just have like this kind of like this 2-story saloon looking thing, and like you did say that there's like objectives and stuff, so I'm assuming there's objectives for like you have to build a floor or you have to build a bed to advance, stuff like that. I don't know. The trailer doesn't really dive into that a whole lot. That's the only thing I'm worried about, and I think all three of us touched on that, is the fact that once you build what you want to build, like what's next for it. So hopefully they kind of tackle that a little bit further and go a little bit more in depth on that, or we can get someone can get their hands on it and check it out when it's released. All right, but that's our gaming block. We have one movie that we're going to check out, and this movie actually already released. It released 3 days ago, and everyone that I know that has gone to see this have given it really great reviews. Let me just make sure we don't get DMCA'd before we play this. Looks clean. But this one is called Spider-Man Brand New Day, and we actually had a comment earlier on last week's podcast talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day, asking us if we were going to go see it. So you know what? We're going to answer your question right here by watching this trailer. I don't think I've actually ever seen this trailer, to be honest. So this will be a first-time look for me, but I would like to go see this. I'm not like the huge... we talked about this last week on the Doomsday trailer here on the podcast. I'm not like a huge superhero fan or anything like that, but when there is those like epic collaborations in a movie, I will actually go watch it, because it does make me excited to watch it. I do like John Bernthal. I've always liked John Bernthal, so I think that's a cool addition to this one. But let's watch the trailer here, then we'll give our thoughts.
Hi, my name is Peter Parker. I have something to tell you that's gonna sound crazy, but it's the truth.
You're the Spider-Man.
Can't tell anybody about this. Gotta keep it a secret.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody good?
Yeah, Spider-Man!
We used to know each other. We were together. But something bad was gonna happen.
Me.
And the only way to stop it was to do the hard thing.
You're gonna forget who I am. What?
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna come and find you. And I'll explain everything.
You better. I love you. I love. Just wait and tell me when you see me again.
My name is Peter Parker, and I would like a coffee.
Is there anything else?
Maybe I'll never read this to you.
No.
Maybe I'm just writing this for me. And maybe that's my responsibility, to live alone with the truth. Because I'm not just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man.
We're faced with a threat that can be anyone.
You sure you want to do this, Scorpion?
You think I'm Scorpion?
Talk to Banner?
No, Banner. Only Hulk.
I'm sorry, but you're in danger. What?
I promised you that I would keep you safe.
Please, you just have to trust me. Come on.
Fine.
You're the only one who can sense it.
Hey, can we do this one at a time, please?
You're the only one who can defeat it.
The Spidey Tracker app says that Spider-Man is in the direct vicinity.
Oh yeah? No way, that's crazy.
Okay, well, there you go. There's the trailer for the brand new Spider-Man. Man, Tom Holland is getting older. There was one scene in particular in this trailer where I'm like, wow, he looks so old now compared to the last time I remember seeing him as Spider-Man. It's kind of the bad thing about casting young actors is when, as time goes on, they start to show that age throughout their duration as portraying a certain character. Another thing interesting about this, they didn't in this particular trailer anyway, they didn't show anything about the Punisher or John Bernthal at all. Maybe there was like a snippet in there with him, but I completely missed it. I've always liked the Scorpion. I've always thought that I was a cool villain. Really weird that he's like, you think I'm the Scorpion? Well, you look like the Scorpion, so that's probably some kind of plot device in there that they're not fully telling us. I like the synopsis of like what led to this happening with like the end of the last one with the 3 different Spider-Men coming in and then him having to restart the whole universe, and then everyone forgets who he is, who Peter Parker is, and they lose his identity and everything, which has led us to this movie here. That's pretty cool. I like how they're following up with that. They had to do something big after that last one, because let's be honest, I don't know if either of you two watched the previous one, but that last one where there was all 3 of the Spider-Men together, and then you had like Doc Ock and the return of William Dafoe as Green Goblin, and you had just everybody in there. That was in the Sandman. That was a sick movie. That was really cool. I really liked how they brought everything together back in that one. So I know that they felt like they had to do something epic here. Bringing in the Hulk is kind of cool. It keeps that like old school. I say old school. That last generation Avengers kind of vibe going there, to remind you of when Marvel was like taking over the world during those series of years. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. I'll definitely go check it out, watch it. I'm intrigued with the villains. I'm always been more of a villain guy than a superhero guy. That's what draws me to go watch these movies and get me interested in them. Is the featured villains. I like the Scorpion. I'm interested to see what John Bernthal has to do with this, with his Punisher character. But yeah, everyone that has watched this so far, that has talked about it or mentioned it around in my circles, has said that this has really been a really fun ride and a really fun experience. So this is definitely on my list, and I will go check it out. Grim, what are your thoughts about this one? Are you all caught up on the whole Spider-Man with like Tom Holland portraying the Spider-Man character and the whole Avengers thing? Are you all caught up on that? And if you are you eager for this one? If not, did this just confuse you?
Uh, I'm not caught up, sadly. And it's funny. I mean, I kind of really should. Spider-Man is kind of a character that I really kind of get behind. Someone who can be kind of sarcastic, a little funny at times, and not really taken seriously, but at the same time too, a hero that has pretty much good intentions and wants to do the right thing all the time. So yeah, I feel bad that I'm not caught up on it. But at the same time too, this looks really good. I've had a couple people tell me as well that this movie was a fun movie to watch. Definitely worth going to see. It's kind of wild though. Like I said, I mean, this is I used to watch a lot of Spider-Man when I was a bit younger, but it was mainly in like the cartoon kind of deal, not the movie kind of deal. I'm curious though. I know you said about the Scorpion thing. Do you think maybe that in this era when they kind of bring this back, I guess maybe he hasn't been named yet, and maybe this is his first time, being the Scorpion. He hasn't named himself or anything. So, or I mean, I don't know. It could be something like that, where he doesn't have a name yet, but Peter Parker knows the name. Like he knows what you're gonna, or what's gonna happen. What's gonna, who's who and whatnot. So I don't know. It looks really, really fun. It looks really cool. I think there was like one scene where it was just kind of like, all right, we gotta stop doing, trying to do something a little different and cool. I think it was the one where they were like shooting him and he was kind of like on the ground. He kind of did a little spin and everything, but he's not even looking at the gun or anything like that. And it's like, I get it, you're Spider-Man, you sense danger, but there's absolutely no way you know how to like completely dodge for a bullet if you're not even looking at it. That's a little too much, I think, for me. But other than that, I love Spider-Man, so I really wish I was caught up. Maybe this is the one that'll make it so that I do get caught up, and just kind of I get a better understanding about this movie. But it looks really, really good.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the whole Scorpion thing with him having that reaction. That does kind of make a more sense when you bring that up, because he literally did like restart the entire time when it comes to like people knowing, because his identity was revealed for a while. Like everybody in the world knew he was Peter Parker equals Spider-Man. That was like the premise of the previous movie. And so he restarted the whole timeline to make everybody forget. But at the same time, there was a caveat of like saving the world at the same time to send all to like save everything. So there was like a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment. And so he chose the better good, but at the same time, everybody forgot who Spider-Man was. And so I think with him having the prior knowledge of the previous universe and then the universe before that, before the hard reset, I think he was bringing that to the Scorpion. So maybe Spider-Man gave him the idea to be the Scorpion. I don't know.
Yeah, and obviously with him holding on to the note and everything that he wants to say, like he knows, he remembers, but no one else does.
Yes. He's basically lived through two different hard resets of the universe, and he's kept all that knowledge, but he's the only one on the Earth that has kept that knowledge. I'm sure there's some other like superheroes out there that can bypass that, as well, that they're not talking about. Of course, it's Marvel, there's comic books, there's always somebody, but for the normal plebs, human being plebs like us, yeah, we've gotten hard reset twice now. We got hit with that Men in Black. Look at the flash thing twice in this movie universe. Azrain, what are you thinking about Spider-Man Brand New Day? Are you gonna go watch it? Have you had a lot of people giving you high praises for this as well?
I have kind of barely been in the thing for Brand New Day. I'm going to hit you guys with a couple of really hot takes real quick. Number one, Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man.
Dang, that is a hot take.
He was quippy. He was down to earth. He was Spider-Man. I think that they just kind of gave him a poor shake. And with the previous movie, he got a chance to really shine as Spider-Man, and it was just beautiful. Andrew Garfield killed it as Spider-Man. Number 2, Grem over here talking about spider sense not being able to track the bullets. That's wrong. Because even established in the previous movie, when Doctor Strange does the soul push out of for Peter Parker, his body is still even reacting to keep Doctor Strange away from the box with the spell or whatever. So Spider Sense is one of the most potent and BS abilities in Marvel at this time, and I absolutely love it for it. Big Spider-Man fan, so you're going to see Spider-Man versus Hulk there for a little bit. Yes, Peter Parker does fight the Hulk in the comics, and occasionally he does win. Spider-Man is that guy. Moving on to the Scorpion. Again, I do have to agree with Grem here with the whole... He has that knowledge, so he addressing him as the Scorpion. He's like, "You think I'm the Scorpion?" I was like, "Yeah, I think he whatever." That's just kind of a big thing. Going through the list on IMDb, I've got all the actors pulled up here. Keith David is in there. He's just got a voice line for the Spider video as a narrator. Love me some Keith David. He is a phenomenal actor. Anything he's in, he elevates it. Marvin Jones III, he portrayed Tombstone in Into the Spider-Verse, and he is reliving this role as an actual actor this time as Tombstone in this movie. Just to kind of spoiler there through the IMDb, but Tombstone is one of those people that you don't think about when you talk about Spider-Man, but he's up there with Kingpin. He's up there with Scorpion, Shocker, Green Goblin. I'm actually really excited to see Marvel's take on Tombstone and Scorpion in this.
Nice. Yeah, this is definitely one on my list. I can't wait to go check it out. Again, I'm not like the biggest superhero maniac or anything, but this movie looks like it's going to be a fun time, and I will definitely be giving it a shot, especially with like the Tombstone that you just talked about. I'd like to see him, the John Bernthal stuff in here as well, that they don't show at all in this trailer. I'm really interested to see how Punisher fits in here and how badass he's going to be. And I just like the Scorpion here. The Scorpion looks really cool as well. And there's no telling what other villains there's going to be hiding in this thing as we lead up to Avengers Doomsday, because I'm sure this is like probably the last stop before that giant GTA 6 of movies arrives. All right, but that will end our movie block, and we're going to move on over to sports now. And we're going to just kind of briefly dip our toes in the water on NASCAR. There was not a race this weekend, or today, I should say, here on this Sunday. There will be a race, I believe, next. We covered this last week. Let's see where we at here. Yes, there will be a race next weekend. It is the Iowa Corn 350 that will be taking place in Newton, Iowa. So all the racers get a week off today to prepare for that. And we are now 4 races away to enter September and enter the Chase, which begins the first weekend of September over in Darlington, South Carolina. So they've got 4 races left before the big final frontier begins for this season's race. And right now we got Denny Hamlin in first, Tyler Reddick in second. Those have basically been the MVP guys for the entire season. It was all Tyler Reddick at the start, and Denny Hamlin really kind of took over here lately. And then recently, it's been kind of a mixed bag. But Ryan Blaney comes in third, Ty Gibbs fourth, Carson Hosvar in fifth, Chase Elliott sixth, Chase Briscoe 7, Kyle Larson in 8, Chris Boucher in 9, Christopher Bell 10, Daniel Suarez in 11, William Byron 12, Joey Logano 13, Bubba Wallace 14, Shane Van Gis SVG in 15, and Austin Cindric in the top 16. And in the bubble is Austin Cindric with Ryan Preece right below him, and Eric Jones sitting in the 18th spot, who dropped a spot. Again, we've been repeatedly talking about how tight that 16 spot is. There's a little bit of a margin there now between the 16 and 17 spot, but I mean, one race could change that, I'm pretty sure. But what are your thoughts on our season up to this point so far? Grem, do you think this 16 is going to hold for the last couple of races before we start the chase? Do you think, Ryan Preece, Eric Jones, and below are just basically out, or do you think they still have a chance here?
I think they still have a chance. They're going to have to really kind of, step it up. I find it interesting that a driver like Eric Jones, who's not had one DNF this entire season, is still on the outside looking in at 18. I think that's kind of intriguing is the word I want to use. Intriguing, that's the word, not the other I word. At the same time, I'm kind of looking at SVG as well. I'm starting to kind of worry a little bit. Keeps kind of going down in the points. And with 4 races to go, even though it's like a 40 plus point lead between 16 and 17, behind 17, it's only 6 points. Behind that, it's another 6 points, and 19th for Brad Keselowski. So I think the top 19 right now are still kind of in it. It's going to be really, really difficult for a driver like Michael McDowell or Ross Chastain to kind of really get into the chase with how far they're gone. I think ultimately they should also show it where who's kind of mathematically eliminated would also kind of be a little neat thing for NASCAR to maybe do if you guys are listening. Because when you're watching a season like this and you see who's made it to the playoffs for the NFL, for example, you also see the teams that are eliminated, the teams that have no chance of making the playoffs. So I think it's something that maybe they should work on going forward. But at the same time, I don't think this is set. I really don't. Now, do I think, for example, Christopher Bell sitting in 10th, do I think that he'll make it into the chase? I think that's a safe number right now. If you're in the top 10, I think you're in a good shape. So long as you're not finishing the last 4 races with DNFs, you should be okay. But again, you never say never. And that's why NASCAR has this kind of this sequence when it comes to their points. They want to make it so that anything can happen. Back in the 90s and a little early 2000s, when I kept watching NASCAR, when there was maybe 4 or 5 races to go, sometimes the championship was pretty much almost done with, and no one could win except for that one driver. So that's why this point system is now in place. And I honestly don't think that our 16 that are here are set. I still think there are plenty of chances for these drivers to get into the chase. It is now pretty much you're watching this bottom group and you're like, okay, well, what's going to happen? Is Bubba Wallace going to slip up, or is he going to get a win? Joey Logano has been the biggest mover the past couple of weeks, and he moved up 2 spots again. But again, you never know. In the next 4 races, he could have 2 DNFs and finish maybe in the top 10 once. So, and that could bring him down to underneath that point. So it's going to be fun to see the next 4 races just to kind of see. I know I kept saying 10 races to go, and it's kind of dumb, but yeah, we only have 4 more races to go, and we only have 4 in so far. Out of the 4, though, pretty much kind of besides Tyler Reddick and I wouldn't throw Ty Gibbs in there. I think Ty Gibbs is a really good race car driver. These are pretty much the you would find it kind of see at the top 4, especially Ryan Blaney's having a really good season so far, and Denny Hamlin, of course, as well. I mean, Tyler Reddick, though, was hot in the beginning and has kind of cooled off. But, right now, for those 4 to be in, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right, besides Tyler Reddick, because, Tyler Reddick came out of nowhere, basically, in the start of the season to be this good. Other than that, guys like Chase Elliott, who are in the top 10 right now, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, too, as well. Those are names that, you've heard of and NASCAR fans know of. So for them to still be in the chase, just because they're sitting in the top 10 right now, doesn't mean when the chase starts that they're not going to turn it up. Sometimes, when you get into the playoffs, your mindset changes. when it comes to a player. It's the same thing with drivers. So I don't think our 16 is set just yet. I think it can still change in the next 4 races. It'd just be interesting to see who's going to hang on and who's not.
I think the coolest thing that they could add to this website, going on to your point about showing us who is statistically just not viable to make it, is how they have the top 4 like locked in. So like no matter what they're in statistically with 4 races left, they need to do the same thing for the bottom and lock those out.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning.
Because I'm sure there's only a certain amount of points you can get per race, right? Like there's a max amount. So, I mean, statistically, you start thinking here, like someone with like, I mean, obviously the people at the very like 4 and 8 points are, you know, they've been done. But someone with like a 355, like a Nemechek, I mean, can he get 880? Can he get 400 points in 4 races while these other guys are, or I guess he's not vying for that. He's going for 638 at this point. Can he get 200 points in 4 races while these other guys are also gaining points at the same time? Like statistically, there's got to be a cutoff point here at the end.
Yeah, I guess kind of looking it up, the maximum points a driver can get in a single NASCAR Cup Series race is 76. So,
so there you go. You could do a little bit of math and find out where the cutoff is here on that for people that are just statistically out. Yeah. I guess they just don't put that on there to like discourage the drivers, even though they know, they probably know.
Yeah,
but having
still,
it plastered on the website is like discouraging to them. But it certainly helps people like us that kind of want to know, because it makes it more interesting to talk about, because you're like, oh, this guy's way down here, but he's not eliminated yet. He still statistically has a chance to get into the top 16. So it makes you more interested and excited to see what's going to happen. So just an idea for you, NASCAR.com, if you're listening.
Yeah, because when they get to the final race and you're finding out who who's going to win the championship, you'll see during that race, well, they'll show, okay, this driver has to finish this, but this driver has to finish underneath for them to win the championship, you know? So it's not like the technology's not there. Like, maybe you're right, maybe not to discourage the other drivers that they're not going to make it. But I mean, if you look at the season that you're having, sometimes, I mean, if you're a New York Jets fan and all of a sudden, you know, you're out of the playoffs, you're like, okay, well then I'm going to be spoiler. And that kind of changes the dynamic a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back on next week's podcast to talk about the next race out in Iowa, and we'll see how that one goes and see who's moved up and who's moved down. But certainly the top 4 are locked in for the rest of for the Cup Series as of now. So, all right, moving over from that over to the big news for sports over the weekend. It was all over ESPN. Oh my God, that's a picture there. So obviously we had WWE SummerSlam this weekend. It was a Saturday and Sunday night affair in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We had 2 nights. I'll just go recap over all of the matches as a whole, as an entire PLE. I won't split this in half. I will just go over everything real quick. Night 1, we started off with Liv Morgan defeating Io Sky to keep her women's world title. After that, we had LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys defeating Jacob Fatu and the Usos in a 6-man tag match. The next match was Gunther defeating Nick Aldis, who put his general manager suit away for this match. He looked great from the pictures I saw. He looked in awesome shape, like he always has. Definitely jacked. And I also heard that he came out to Oasis as his theme song, which was pretty funny. But yeah, Gunther defeats him. And then we had, I'm interested, are they going to put him back in the GM role now, or is he now a just active wrestler now?
It's funny you mentioned that, and I will explain that after you get through night 2.
Okay. I'm going to leave you with a bunch of rhetoricals here, so take your notes.
I'm writing it down. I'm writing down.
After that, we had a 6-women tag team match. We saw Fatal Influence defeating the Bella Twins and Paige. I'm wondering, this is another rhetorical, I'm wondering if there was like a split up, breakup angle there to tease the whole Paige versus Bella thing after what happened at what was it, WrestleMania, where she came out and said she was injured and Paige replaced her, whatever, for the tag belts. So, and then after that, we had the undisputed WWE title match. Like Drums, our fellow YouTuber, podcaster, wrestling, James Romero, shout out, said, I don't know how there's an undisputed WWE title when there's 2 world titles. But CM Punk defeats Cody Rhodes to keep the belt. So CM Punk with the retain. I did see a clip of him trying a moonsault, and it was terrible. Like, he didn't even hit him. He went over the top rope, did a moonsault. I give CM Punk credit. I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan. But I give him credit for trying. I'm not going to completely, shit post him because he completely missed a moonsault. At least he went for it and he tried it. But man, that was bad. And then Hell in a Cell was the main event of night 1. Obafemi defeating Brock Lesnar there in his hometown. Everyone was kind of thinking that this was Brock Lesnar's retirement, like he was done after this. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. The fact that he took the loss here probably makes sense because Obafemi's on his way up. Brock Lesnar is kind of towards the end of his tenure as a professional wrestler. Everyone's kind of thinking. He's been on a limited schedule for several years now. He's definitely not been full-time. I would like to go back and watch this Hell in a Cell match to see if it gets like really brutal, just like 2 monsters in a cage. If they do like some pretty crazy stuff, that's one I would like to go back and see. But Obafemi wins, and I heard after the match, Lesnar like gave him a big like a shout out and a passing of the torch thing, and they hugged and kissed and did all that stuff after the match, to the point where some people actually said that it was actually a rib, that Brock Lesnar requested the microphone and was giving Obafemi all this hype and praise and stuff after losing to him. And some people were saying it was like Brock Lesnar like kind of ribbing him and ribbing everybody, like being sarcastic about it in front of like a live audience. But you know how wrestling fans are. And then night 2, which just actually concluded a few moments ago as we started this recording of this podcast, we had the undisputed WWE Championship Fatal 4-Way #1 contender match. So this is to find out who's going to be fighting CM Punk next after his retain over Cody Rhodes. And we had the big news of the day, which was Kevin Owens making his return. I think he was injured. Grim can correct me on that. But he makes his big return, epic return, and he defeated Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, and Gunther in a wasn't Gunther in a match? Yeah, he wasn't. Oh, okay, he was booked twice. Interesting. Okay. I guess it makes sense. Gunther's been main event kind of guy for a while now. But yeah, Kevin Owens comes back and he immediately wins. So I guess it's going to be CM Punk versus Kevin Owens now moving forward. Double from me. Just my opinion, of course. U.S. title match was after that. Baron Corbin, who debuted a few weeks ago to make his comeback to WWE, defeated Trick Williams to become the new U.S. champion. Trick Williams has had that belt for a while now, has gone through a bunch of different feuds and stuff, and he finally finds himself without the belt. After the returning, Baron Corbin comes back and beats him here. Then we had an interim women's championship ladder match, and I believe this is because Rhea Ripley's injured. Yet another note for Grim to... Never mind. He doesn't have to write that one down. So Rhea Ripley has been injured. So they had to figure out who was going to carry the belt. And we had a ladder match. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4... A 5 ladies ladder match for the vacated title. Chelsea Green wins. So Chelsea Green, the women's champ. Is this another rhetorical that Grim can write down? Has Chelsea Green ever won the actual women's title before in WWE? I know she's been U.S. champion. This might be a first-time women's championship run for her. Beating Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, and Lash Legend in the ladder match. I would like to go back and watch that, actually. I bet it was pretty entertaining. Then we had the comedy bit of the night, of the weekend, Human Monies on a pole match. Big white bag with a big black money symbol on it. Danhausen defeating Dominic Mysterio. We were actually wondering how Dominic Mysterio was going to factor into SummerSlam leading up to this, because we didn't know if it was going to be like Miz and Kit Wilson involved, whether there was going to be Los Lotharios getting involved. Was Zack Ryder getting involved, as he calls them. They probably were in some capacity. I didn't watch the match, but Danhausen does win and wins human monies. What he's going to do with human monies, I don't know, but I'd like to go back and watch that too. Intercontinental title match, Chad Gable winning the big, what was it, a gauntlet match to get this opportunity to face Penta for the IC belt. Chad Gable wins. All his stuff with like the Americano stuff in AAA pays off. He wins. He's getting a push right now for the IC belt. Now he has the IC belt. Good for him. Like I said a few podcasts ago, I did watch that mass versus match in AAA. I thought it was awesome. Really good match. And despite Chad Gable losing, I think he put on a great performance and carried that gimmick well. So them pulling the trigger on him to actually give him a push for a belt at the expense of Penta, I think is a good idea. I think Chad Gable's very underrated. He's like one of the best pure wrestlers they have, if not the best pure wrestler they have on the roster. And he's really had a short end, no pun intended, he's really had the shorty end of the stick through a lot of his tenure in WWE, where he hasn't been taken seriously. His original run with, what was it, American Alpha in NXT, that was sick. Like, everyone loved that tag team. And then for whatever reason, WWE does what WWE does and split them up. But looks like he's finally going to get back to being an awesome wrestler, serious wrestler here again. But we'll see. It is WWE. And then, of course, the main event of the whole SummerSlam was Roman Reigns beating Seth Rollins to retain the title that just concluded a few moments ago while we were doing this podcast. Everyone collectively was groaning and rolling their eyes at this as we get to see Roman Reigns taking on Seth Rollins for the 827th time. Roman Reigns beat him. You know, I don't care. Like, I thought the Shield was cool for like a month, but the fact that the whole Shield thing was like, what was it, like 12 years ago now? Maybe longer? I don't know. And they were still like trying to like cram that down our throats. I'm just like, man, the Shield was cool for a little bit, but it wasn't that cool. I mean, it wasn't that great. And what really like upset me about it is that they did that. I think it was like a WWE YouTube or a WWE.com or something where they were like ranking the best stables in wrestling history. And they had like, obviously, you know, they had like DX and NWO and Four Horsemen. And then you had like the Shield up there with them. I think the Shield was even beating a few of those names I just mentioned. I was like, seriously? No. That's when I'm like, I've had enough. You guys are eating your own crap at this point. The Shield is not that memorable. I'm sorry. You can disagree with me in the comments, or maybe you agree with me in the comments. But when I see Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, I'm just like, I'd rather watch CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. At least that's a match that hasn't happened a whole lot. Last time that happened was a long time back when Cody Rhodes had dark hair. So at least that's a little bit fresh, but still that match is not going to make me go tune in to watch SummerSlam. I just was not interested in this. The undercard was way more interesting and fun to me than the main event spots, and it's been that way in WWE for me for a long time. Of course, everyone's going to have your own opinion. I'm sure there's a bunch of Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins or CM Punk fans or Cody Rhodes fans out there. And I'm not disregarding their talent or their skill or their wrestling ability or their longevity, of course. But in terms of how they've been booked and portrayed and how WWE booking has been for the past 20 years, basically, I just, no. There's a reason why I'm an Attitude Era fan and I've not been really back. And like looking at the SummerSlam card is the reason why. Just more par for the course for me. I think actually what would be a fun indicator is if you take the undercard, like imagine you're looking at the SummerSlam card and you turn it upside down. You put the main event stuff at the beginning to open the show, and you put the stuff at the bottom to close out the show. That's usually, I think that's a good indicator of how I feel about WWE these days. Of course, I'm not also a huge fan of Kevin Owens. I'm just like, on him. But at least I would watch a fatal four-way match with these four guys than seeing Roman and Seth again. And, you know, I would take an exception of Obafemi versus Brock in a Hell in a Cell just because that's a novelty match. So I wouldn't do that. But putting that aside, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, I mean, I'd much rather watch the six-man tag or Gunther and Nick Aldis than I would see CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. But I'll get off my soapbox now. this is me groaning as a 90s wrestling fan that never really came back after like 2006. But we're still covering here because deep down inside, I'm still a wrestling fan. I'm certainly more on the, I'm certainly more watching WCW on YouTube than I am the real current day product. That's for sure. But I'll pass it over to Grem, who's definitely more into today's product, not in a way of like watching it every single week or anything, but has his nose more to the ground when it comes to what's going on. What were your overwhelming thoughts about SummerSlam? What were some of the answers of some of my rhetoricals? Did any of these matches kind of stick out to you? Were they exciting to you, or do you agree with some of my opinions? What are your overall thoughts of SummerSlam here?
Dang, I'm gonna make this quick because you were going to town.
I was.
Okay, answering the last question first that you just had. You know, you kind of saying like switching the main event and the opener. Actually, you know, that's not a really bad idea. I didn't even really think about that when I was looking at the card. But you're spot on that. Actually, that's pretty good by you. Actually, I think because again, returning Kevin Owens, the fans did love that. So why not? All right, you know, make that the main event. I mean, we already know, you know, Roman was going to beat Seth Rollins, so you know, it is what it is at that point. Okay, I have notes and then I have everything else. So, you know, Liv Morgan, I thought it was kind of funny that Liv Morgan did beat Io Sky because I thought Liv Morgan was cursed. So I thought that wouldn't have worked that way. Like she wouldn't have gotten the win, but she did. The 6-man tag match, I really feel like they're trying to turn Solo into a face, which is very, very different, but I'm liking it. That on Raw they did like this whole like pow and pew pew thing, and Solo's kind of like running with it right now. So, I mean, and I'll kind of get more into why I'm thinking they're turning Solo face here when we get to the Roman Seth thing. Gunther defeating Nick Aldis. Obviously, we kind of knew that was going to happen. Fatal Influence, again, winning against the Bellas. At the very end, guess what happened? The Bella twins turned on Paige. Who would have saw that coming? Except for us in the podcast for the past 3 weeks.
So real quick, do you have an answer for the whole Nick Aldis is back as GM, or is he now?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'll let you do your thing then.
Keep the ride going here. Keep the ride going. CM Punk defeating Cody Rhodes. I know you mentioned about the moonsault. Obviously, Cody Rhodes has a moonsault, so that's probably why CM Punk attempted it. But maybe it is something that you should either try or maybe just don't do it at that point. Interesting enough, too, Randy Orton did come out to interfere in this match and RKO Cody Rhodes. So we're finally getting the legacy storyline that I feel like it should have happened last year when Cody was champion, and Randy was kind of like, you know, the snake in the weeds kind of deal. No puns intended at all from any of that, by the way. But we're finally going to get that storyline. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. I remember you'll probably see in the highlights, but Brock at one point kind of tore up the ring, delivered a tombstone onto the wooden part of the ring to Oba. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching the highlights for sure. Kevin Owens came back from a neck injury, and actually this number one contendership match started out as it just being Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor. But guess who comes out before the match starts in a suit and ready to be a GM once again? Yes, Nick Aldis. Nick decided that, you know what, instead of a singles one-on-one match, let's go ahead and add another person. So he added Gunther. And this was kind of the weird... and I'll get to SummerSlam, what I think of it as a whole in a few seconds. But Gunther comes out, like, shows his eye to Nick. They kind of smile. Gunther extends his hand, and they both shake hands, and he goes to the ring. And I'm like, what? Like, 24 hours ago, you guys were, like, trying to choke each other out and try to make it so you go night-night. It boggled my mind a little bit to see that and hear that. But yes, Nick Aldis is back as a GM.
I don't get why he would pun it. Why why he would reward him for choking
Yes.
his ass out in front of
Thank you.
a pay-per-view
Thank you.
audience the night
Thank you.
before. That doesn't
Thank
make
you.
any sense.
When I saw that, I literally went back to look to make sure that it was Nick Aldis because I wasn't sure at first. I thought, oh well, maybe it's Adam Pearce, and maybe I just heard it wrong.
Was there like really heated stuff between Gunther and Nick Aldis leading up to this fight? Like were they like in a heated exchange?
They were doing, yeah, that was the whole thing.
So it was like a heated rivalry. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just fight you at SummerSlam, and that was like basically it. There was like actual like
there was beef heading into SummerSlam, and then all of a sudden
that makes no sense.
I know. And then of course he announces Kevin Owens returning, and the fans.
You know who is really screwed out on this is Sami Zayn.
Yes, and that's the whole point.
Oh, is it?
Yes, this is the storyline now. Now Sammy's the good guy, and he does everything correct and the hard way, and he still can't get the respect that he deserves. So this is the whole story with Sammy now. It's like he gets screwed out of it every single time, and this goes back to like the COVID days when he was kind of like everyone's out to get me, the paranoid Sami Zayn. It's all a conspiracy against him and yada, yada, yada. So I think they're just replaying this again. But now it's more or less him instead of the intercontinental scene, it is now more the world championship scene. So yeah, that's the storyline. So yeah, Kevin Owens winning. I'm okay with it. I mean, it would have been kind of neat to see like Finn Balor versus CM Punk. But Kevin Owens is going to be okay, against CM Punk. I think it'll be a fun little like promo war between the two. Baron Corbin defeating Trick William. I don't. If you're gonna give the title to Trick, don't let him win to someone who just comes back 2 weeks, from nowhere, kind of deal. Like there was nothing with this. I'm surprised that it happened. I don't see them putting Trick in the the world the undisputed championship. Excuse me. So I don't understand why you would do that. But I mean, again, it is what it is. I like Baron Corbin in terms of like the moves that he can pull off and everything, but I don't know if I would have pulled Trick. I would have maybe had him win by like disqualification. You know what I mean? And this way, Trick is still a champion, but Baron Corbin wins by a DQ because Trick is the face. Chelsea Green. This is her first ever women's championship. In terms of holding on to the women's championship, excuse me. She was a U.S. champion, and she also was a tag team champion as well. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they pulled the trigger on Chelsea Green. A lot of people were really hoping that they would push Chelsea Green, and that's good on WWE. I know it's hard to say this, but to actually give someone who's been kind of clawing and what the fans wanted, just to give them a push in this. I don't know how Rhea Ripley versus Chelsea Green is going to go. And they also had a moment where Chelsea Green was kind of like, she's supposed to be buddy-buddy with Tiffany, but she actually pushed her off the ladder, which that spot was crazy, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go see it. And I'm you and I watched the Stevie Richards podcast. We're probably gonna see it too, and it's probably gonna be
what went wrong,
what went right, but what could have gone wrong. Because honestly, like if Tiffany just kind of took it just one way, I think it would have been fine. But she at the last second decided to like tuck and do something, and I'm like, oh my god. But anyways, it looked like everything was fine. It's all good. Danhausen winning Human Monies, obviously against Dominic Mysterio. It's kind of weird because Joe Henry was in the match as well, but obviously Danhausen needed some friends, so he's got Joe Henry right now, which was funny because they were kind of building up. Oh, wow, I almost called him Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, to be that friend.
Well, he is Zack Ryder, according to Danhausen.
Yeah, but like right now, like it was weird because it didn't. Where was he? Like he should have showed up for this too. But
apparently, he was at ringside when his wife won the belt before the match before.
Oh, so then I guess he was like, "Well, cool. See you later, Danhausen. I already got my Human Monies right here."
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned about Chad Gable. I think the reason was because Jason Jordan got hurt, and WWE at the time saw Jason Jordan as the star, not Chad Gable, and that's again the Shorty G thing with Chad Gable because they didn't think he was going to be marketable. But at the same time, too, the dude's a smaller Kurt Angle. That's all it is. And that's all he is. But he's really, really good. He's a really, really good wrestler. If Penta is moving up to the World Heavyweight Championship scene, I'm okay with this. But at the same time, too, I also feel like Chad Gable should also be in the World Heavyweight Championship match or the scenario as well. So I feel like it's kind of like a lose-lose for one of these two. You know what I mean? Like now Chad Gable's stuck in IC title rankings yet again. And for a guy like him who should be rewarded for what he did with El Grande Americano in the match down there in AAA, to give him the IC title match kind of is like, yeah, well, we don't think you're completely ready, kid. And it's like, dude, kid's ready. Like he's been ready, and he's hot right now. Like, why wouldn't you pull the trigger on that? I think Roman Reigns versus Chad Gable match for the title would be, one, different. Two, would be really, really good. I think he could push Roman to the limits, and that would be an amazing match. I think it would be really, really good to watch. But again, we're not booking WWE around here, right? And of course, the World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns defeating Seth Rollins, and I know you're gonna love this because you were right on that. By the way, it was 12 years apart. The Shield broke up. At the very end, Roman Reigns decided to hold out his hand like the Shield, and Seth Rollins touched gloves. So signifying that they're all buddies now. They're all good. And SummerSlam in a nutshell for me was basically everyone just being friends with everyone. That's it. That's all it was. Like Brock Lesnar finally being buddy with Oba.
It is International Friendship Day. Remember?
Apparently they took that one step ahead and just made everyone friends. Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton are friends, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are friends, and now Gunther and Nick Aldis are friends, and now Roman and Seth are friends, and Randy Orton and Cody are not friends right now, but maybe CM Punk and Randy Orton are now friends, and it just seems like it was like a friendship kind of pay-per-view.
Danhausen and Human Monies are friends.
Yeah, we're friends. Yeah, exactly. So there were some questionable things from SummerSlam that I kind of scratched my head just a little bit on. There were some things that I knew we knew, that were going to happen. A lot of people, I think that that women's championship match, a lot of people thought either Jade Cargill, or Charlotte Flair was going to be the champion. And that would kind of make sense because, Rhea has history between them. And not so much Chelsea Green, unless maybe, Rhea, when Rhea comes back, maybe she's going to be going back onto Raw. And that interim, tag goes away and Chelsea becomes like the actual champion. I don't know, it seems kind of like a little bit of a head scratching mystery on that one, but I mean, hey, you never know with WWE. You never know how it's gonna pan out. I do want to say though, I feel like potentially, and I talked about it before with Solo going face. I really think that they're gonna potentially do like a Roman bloodline heel turn. And I think it's going to include the Usos, Jacob Fatu, and I honestly think it's going to add Seth Rollins to that as well. And I think the running thing with Seth Rollins and Roman is like, because they talked about it, they're the old guard now, right? They don't want these new young kids to take what is theirs. And I think that's the mutual respect between the two. It's like, okay, now we have to band together to make sure, the likes of Penta and Trick Williams aren't knocking down our doors and taking our titles and taking our monies, or not human monies, but things like that. That would be the storyline going forward. That's the only thing I can think of, because it just seems very odd to do the Shield thing 12 plus years out, and no one really cares anymore because it's not the Shield, right? Let's be real. It won't be the Shield if Dean Ambrose is not there. And Dean Ambrose is not going to be there. He's in AEW right now as Jon Moxley, and that's what it's going to be. So you're not going to make the Shield because your third member is not even in your company.
All right. One last thought, and then we'll send it over to Azarain, who's probably chomping at the bit to jump in here, elbow drop into this discussion. Since Liv Morgan and the Io Sky thing is done here, Do you know if like the aftermath of this led up to like a rematch between the two, or are they gonna finally do the deal of like, you know, everyone wants the Roxanne Perez, I want the Raquel Rodriguez. Did they tease that at the end of this match? Do you know?
No, I think Raquel being the women's IC title holder, I don't think they're going to pull the trigger anytime soon. The only one would be Roxanne Perez, because now she doesn't have a title, and it could be one of those things where they're kind of looking down at her and they're like, well, she was brought in to the Judgment Day, and she was brought in from an ex-member, which was Finn Balor. So they could potentially turn on her. And so that would mean that Raquel would stay heel, which again, I don't think that's the correct way to go. But you know, we'll see. And then when we're done with the WWE, I do have one little wrestling tidbit before we go into your segment.
All right. Let's get Azarain in on this because he's been sitting here waiting. Yeah. All right, Azarain, you've seen the card for SummerSlam. I'm sure you've seen a few highlights. What were your thoughts about SummerSlam 2026?
I was actually surprised by a few of these highlights. The main match that I was kind of hoping for to be my kind of hype match was Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi. Brock Lesnar hit him with 3 F5s in a row, and he kicked up and just kept going until Brock Lesnar gave him that tombstone on that bare wood and even put him in the dead man pin. It was more meant to be a symbol of him passing the torch to Oba as well. I mean, it seems like they're going to be setting up maybe a Bloodlines thing coming up in the near future, and Oba is going to be being pushed, especially with the backing of Brock Lesnar now. So overall, the match was decent. It looked good. I didn't see any use for the cage, and that kind of let me down just a little bit. Big guys throwing each other around a little bit. It was pretty much all in the ring, no cage whatsoever. But the women's ladder match, oh my God. Chelsea Green is your winner and your interim champion, who's going to be facing Rhea Ripley in the near future. She threw Tiffany Stratton off of the ladder into all of the ladies at one point, and then BMO and who else was it? Got involved to B-Fab and Michin got involved to pull her away from the belt there, kind of keep it going. It hyped it up. And then towards the end, Tiffany got power bombed onto a ladder. And it almost looked like an accident at one point, but it was just absolutely phenomenal. It was like, oh my God, this is like the old school wrestling that I miss. The ladies absolutely killed it in that match. For Chelsea Green to finally win it after everyone was down, she was actually hanging from the ladder and pulled herself up and then climbed the ladder to grab the belt. Just that should have been the main event. That match right there. Everything else kind of, everything was kind of leading up to good things. You had good stuff here. Penta versus I really wanted that to be that gauntlet match. That would have been so much better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't really care about CM Punk or Roman Reigns, whatever. It seems like something that we've seen over and over and over again, but they're kind of trying to lead up into something different, it feels like. They're trying to make some changes in the near future, and that's why they're trying to push these new people. Overall, I'd say maybe about a 5, maybe a 6 on SummerSlam, and it's the only reason I'm rating it that high was because of the women's match and the tribute Brock gave with The Undertaker as the Undertaker pretty much did the exact same thing to Brock back in the day, ripping the thing to Tombstone Pile Driver into the Dead Man's Pin. That was cinema.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I was just gonna say I'm just gonna kind of wrap it up there. Danhausen is always fun to watch, but it's just it didn't pique me like I thought it was going to. But it still had highlights.
What are your thoughts on Danhausen being he needs to be a little bit more evil, but Danhausen is the Azarine of WWE.
Quite. I mean, he is a chaotic little jester, but
he's more comedy than evil.
Yeah, more comedy, which, I try to have my comedy in there too, but it's more of I'm roasting you versus
Right. Okay, one last thing. I know Grem wanted to put the nail on this thing. I thought another interesting thing leading up into this is once again bringing up James Romero, fellow YouTuber, wrestling podcaster, and everything. He was reporting that the SummerSlam tickets were abysmal. So they were like doing a lot of last minute things to try to change things out. I mean, from this camera angle, what we're seeing here, I'm seeing fans pretty piled up in there. This was obviously earlier today, the attendance here, but I mean, I'm not seeing a whole lot of, I mean, we're only seeing like a quarter of the arena too. So they probably picked the best angle to take the picture from, but I mean, from this picture I'm seeing right here, it looks like it's pretty packed from top to bottom. There's a few cheap seats, a little not filled in up there at the top, but down here at the bottom where the big money is, I'm seeing a full stack here. So I don't know what happened if the tickets actually came through at the end, but he was certainly reporting that ticket sales were looking bad for this event. Graham, what did you want to say to put the nail on this thing?
That's actually a really good point. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. I mean, it does look like it's like the ticket sales really did go up. The one other thing I wanted to touch on, and this actually isn't part of WWE. It was TNA, actually. Mustafa Ali defended his international championship against Jason Hotch of the Order 4. And Jason Hotch actually is the new international champion. So I know you had talked about this maybe like, 3-4 weeks ago on Ali needing to be the top guy for TNA. I think the ball might be rolling. So I wanted to kind of bring that to your attention because last Thursday he did lose that title.
Nice. Yeah, and against one of his own guys. As Marky D likes to call him Hotch and Botch.
Yeah, but it's funny because a lot of people are giving TNA a lot of praise because they're actually promoting youth for that title right now. It's like, hey, he's never won a singles title, and he's been with TNA for like 2 years now, so or maybe 3. But either way, they're praising TNA for like, hey, start using your young superstars, start trying to groom them now, get them into the position and see what you have with them.
Well, they got to do something because they've lost a lot of talent the past couple of weeks.
It's funny, I was thinking about it too.
And they're going to be losing their world champion soon too, from what it sounds like.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about too, with like Nick Nemeth and Jeff Hardy. And if you add like a Mustafa Ali, all of a sudden you're like, wow, these are like WWE kicks.
Wait, Nemeth is the champion right now, right?
Nemeth is the champion right now.
Okay,
yeah,
never mind.
Santana went to NXT. But you know what I mean?
Like he did. He's actually there now.
Yeah.
We called it. We everyone knew it was going to happen.
Yes, I mean it is, but it's funny because again, you want to try to promote the youth, but it's funny when I say that when you have like WWE superstars that are no longer with the company anymore, like a Nick Nemeth, Jeff Hardy, and even Ali. They're like not. I wouldn't say Ali's the old guard, but the other two are. And you're like, well, how are you really promoting that if your top title is being hunted by like 3 former WWE superstars? So it's kind of a weird balance for TNA right now to try to do. But again, a lot of people were high on Jason Hotch actually winning. There's going to be a whole storyline with the Order 4 now imploding, which the match was really, really good too. One of the spots was Ali taking the superplex from the top of the ring ropes to the outside table. But there was plenty of other cool little spots. I actually ended up watching the match, and I know I'm Mustafa Ali fan, but I wanted to kind of give you praise on what you were saying earlier. Like, he doesn't need that title anymore, and they actually did have him drop it. So we'll see what happens.
I was taking that from Marky D. Like, he does a lot of TNA recaps and stuff on their shows, and that's where I get all my TNA knowledge from, because I don't really watch it. So I just watch his videos, and he's all the time saying, well, why do they have Mustafa Ali in this mid-card role? He's like the workhorse of the entire company. He needs to be up at the top of the main event echelon. So hopefully they're finally doing that.
I think so. But yeah, I wanted to kind of bring it to his attention since we're in the wrestling block. So yes.
Right. Okay, well, I'm sure we'll be keeping our eyes. I'm sure you'll be keeping your eyes on that for when that push comes. Push come to shove, I should say.
Yes.
All right, well, we're going to move over to Croakitoad Gaming News now for our final bit of our podcast. I'm just going to quickly talk about what I was streaming this past week, which is literally Doom. Doom of the Dark Ages. I came back like a week later and finally finished the Doom of the Dark Ages Revelations DLC. I will have to go back and get all the achievements on. There's like 3 achievements left I need to get, which is just mopping up and doing a bunch of collectibles. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it's just because I've been working on a lot of other projects these days, but this Doom Revelations DLC didn't really strike me. I felt it was too long. There's only like 4 or 5 levels in this thing, but each level takes over an hour to finish. And it just started getting like a little bit repetitive. I did not like the spear weapon at all. As soon as I got the shield again, I just started using the shield more. I don't know. Maybe I was just not in the mood for it. But I kept telling myself while I was streaming this, and this can be found on YouTube, by the way, my full playthrough of this. I kept telling myself, like, why can we just get back to the original Doom? Like, can we just get back to just mass shooting and strafing left and right? And why do we have all these gimmicks? Why do we have QTEs now? Why do we have to parry things? Why is this Dark Souls and it's like Doom Souls? Why are we here? How did we get here? Doom 2016 was great. I think that was a great resurgence in the series to bring it to modern times. Then you had Doom Eternal, which kind of started the gateway drug of like turning into Doom Souls. But it was still okay. But this Doom the Dark Ages, like, I think my original impression of the base game was like it was cool because the shield, and the shield is cool. I do like the shield dynamics of it. You take the shield out, then it's just not quite as impressive to me. It just started getting really gimmicky with like the shmups and the bullet hells, the situations from an FPS sitting. I just don't like this. Like, I understand you want to strafe and you want to be fast, it's Doom, but we don't need all the gimmicks. We don't need all the specialty enemies. Let's just get back to the basics where you're running around, you're just mindlessly shooting, and you're strafing left and right. That's Doom in a nutshell. Just give us Doom. Why are we messing with all this extra? And this Doom Revelations, Dark Ages Revelations DLC really just put more emphasis onto like it being more of a gimmicky FPS shooter with bullet hell dynamics in it, where you have to utilize certain weapons and do certain things, and you have QTEs and you have parrying, and just I like the shield. I like the shield, but not the WWE shield, but the Dark Ages shield. I like the Doom the Dark Ages shield. But this DLC just didn't stick to me. But I was certainly glad it was over. Again, I'll have to go back and get all the rest of the achievements on it, which is like a bunch of collectibles and extra crap I didn't want to really mess with, but I'm going to have to for all the achievements. But that was the one stream I did that was not CPW last week. So there you go. That's my review of Doom the Dark Ages Revelations, which just came out a few weeks ago. Check it out if you like Doom the Dark Ages. It's very gimmicky and it's very bullet hell and very shmup from an FPS setting. If you want your classic and traditional Doom, you're probably not going to like this. And I just wasn't impressed with the spear weapon that they introduced. I immediately switched over to the shield, basically immediately. But that's my opinion on that. All right, moving over to the CPW Wrestling Report. And we had last Tuesday, we had Scars and Stripes, the big event for the month of July. And this is our card. we're just going to jump right into this. We started off Scars and Stripes with a huge shocker for everyone watching because they had no idea that this was on the card. You want to know why? Because there was not a card posted. So yeah, everyone got surprised. Of course, there were some matches that people assumed were going to happen, and they did. But we had a lot of shockers on this night, starting with this opening match, 4.5 match star rating, to finally establish the Croakitoad Pro Wrestling Cruiserweight Championship. For the first time ever, Jimmy Zaz had an opportunity to establish 2 different titles in CPW history, his first being the TV title, of course, but did not come away with it. It was Piranha, who previously debuted in that Beach Brawl Summer Beach Battle Royal thing, whatever, against 7 other people. He won, Piranha won that, and then came back a month later in its second match. I'll call it because we don't know what gender Piranha is, because it's more like a creature from the Amazon. But Piranha did beat Jimmy Zaz to become the first ever Cruiserweight champion in CPW. I can't wait to see more Cruiserweight style matches a la WCW Nitro with the Luchadors, now that the title has been established and Piranha is at the top and has established the belt. Really fun match. Glad it was a ladder match. It's very entertaining. Usually when you see these simulated ladder matches, one AI beats the other AI down until they're like down for a long time, or throws them out of the ring. The first time they climb up the ladder, they grab it and it's over. GG, kind of boring. This one was actually back and forth. There was a lot of ladder climbs from both characters. It really made you give that sense of like, actually, okay, who is going to win? It really came down to it, so that was really cool that the AI came through on that match to start us off. The next match was Azarain with Alessandra and Miles Waldmar together as the Kappa champion, defeating Lady Lavin for the Kappa title. 5-star match. This was a huge shocker of a match because despite the 3-on-1 odds, Lady Lavin was taking all 3 of these guys to the limit. And there was a time where everybody thought, who was watching this match, that Lady Lavin was actually going to win this 3-on-1 match to become the new Kappa champion. There was a very long period and duration of time where Lady Lavin was predicted to win this match, and that was really crazy. But eventually the numbers game did get to her, and Azarain, Alessandra, Miles Waldmar, the Unholy Union, do end up keeping their Kappa title, but I bet they were sweating that one after the match was over, that's for sure. Getting a 5-star match and a 3-on-1 match should tell you all you need to know about what happened there. The next match was for the Hardcore title. It was only a 2.5 match star rating. It was Jen Von Lee defending her Hardcore championship, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she is the longest reigning current active champ. She is the longest reigning current holding champion in CPW right now at 117 days at the time of this recording. So she has held onto her belt the longest, and she took out her number 1 contender for the Hardcore title at that time, which was the Sandman, who is 1-0. So in his second match in CPW, he gets the big push for the belt and does not come away with it. It was a very short match. It got very brutal very early on, but it ended up outside of the ring, and Jen Von Lee just slapped on that octopus stretch, and she just made the Sandman tap out almost immediately. She has been an absolute steamroller in season 3. I'm looking for her here. Yeah, she actually made the top 10 for wins percentage here. She's got a 64% win rate in season 3, which is a far cry from where she was in season 2, where she had a 75% losing rate last season. A complete turnaround for Jen Von Lee, and 117 days as Hardcore champion. Now that is one way to turn it around from one season to the next for sure. With all these percentages, I feel like I'm doing Steiner math here. The next match was Skippy the Scout defeating Helldiver Zach, 3.5 match star rating. All this was just giving Helldiver Zach another match to be featured on the PLE. Really appreciate Helldiver Zach and his support for the Croakitoad community and CPW. It's unfortunate that Helldiver Zach lost to Skippy the Scout, because he, on the other hand, has not had a very good season here. I was actually expecting to see him here on the top 10 for loss percentage, but he's actually not on here, because I feel like he's actually lost more matches than he's won, which is still probably accurate, but not enough to be put on the top 10 worst losing stretches in season 3. So Nevertheless, Skippy the Scout picks up a win here, 3.5 match star. The next match was a steel cage match. We saw the Titans taking on the Pooner Rangers. It was Anubis Khan and Welsh Mosher defeating Fat Sting and Shamu inside the cage. 4.5 match star rating. This was also a really interesting match, much like the dynamic in the AI of the starting match and the ladder match. This had a lot of people climbing up the side of the cage. Usually when you get an AI simulated cage like this in these games, usually one person like escapes pretty quickly dead on. Then this person from the opposing team kind of climbs kind of right after that. And then you're just left with a one-on-one deal. That is not what happened in this match. Lots of people tried to climb out early on. I think all 4 of them actually tried to climb out very early on. And it was very, very like active in terms of that. It wasn't like your par for the course simulated steel cage match. Like everyone was doing really unique things that you wouldn't normally see in this match, which made it really cool. This is obviously a match that the Titans are happy to win and put the Pooner Rangers behind them. That was also announced that whoever won this match would actually go on to face Nathan Moore and Rogue, FAFO, to see who would be next in line to take on the tag team champions of Morsel and Mr. Cantot. So we are set for a destination to see the Titans take on FAFO at some point, and then the winner of that will get a crack at the tag belts again. So I think I think the Titans are more happy about just beating the Pooner Rangers and putting them aside than they are the stipulation of the match, because I think they were just starting to get tired of being trolled by these overweight Power Rangers. The next match was for the Young Lions Championship. This was Deputy Dog on his first singles title win, actually ever title win in CPW. He's still on that reign after being Queen Savi at Beach Brawl. And this was the rematch clause. Queen Savi had won several matches leading up to this to prove her #1 contendership stay in place. And we got the match one-on-one, but it was Deputy Dog defending and beating Queen Savi to keep the belt. 4-star match rating. So Deputy Dog, part of the corporation, hanging on to that Young Lions Championship. He doesn't want to let that first title go and escape his clutches. The next match was for the International Championship, and this was yet another situation where the champion just recently won the belt over Rock Hard Meat, Grim Weaver, on his first ever title reign. Excuse me. And he defeated Zozakin, who this match was leading up to a big time feel, because Zozakin was actually picking wins off of Grim Weaver, actually making him tap out at one time leading up to this. So everyone was thinking, ooh, man, Zozakin's got all of the momentum going into this thing where he's going to be the new international champion. But when it came down to crunch time, the big man with the wolf head, Grim Weaver, actually is able to retain and keep his international title 4-star match rating over Zozakin. Very close match, though, and Zozakin certainly had the momentum going into this matchup, but that just proves that even if you have the momentum, it doesn't mean that you're actually going to come through and win. And then our semi-main event was a 4-on-4 tag match, and we saw Mr. Coke and his syndicate, his family. There's someone came up with a name during the show, and it was actually really catchy, and I can't remember what that person said now. That would be a name of like what I think it might have been the Cliffy came up with some funny name for Mr. Coke and his group, and I can't remember what he said now, but yeah, it was very intriguing. Other than Coke Syndicate, which is obviously a play on like the Hitman series. But we have Mr. Coke, Agent CS, Sneaky Sean, and Roxas teaming together to take on Linky, Connie, Wizard Boz, and Spike Ryan. 1.5 match star rating. And the reason for this is because basically the match ended before it could even start. The two legal people were outside the ring. I believe it was Agent CS and God, was it actually Spike Ryan? They were fighting on the outside of the ring. The Agent CS rolls back into the ring before the 10 count. And Mr. Coke's team wins by count out. So there you go. Typical Mr. Coke way of winning the match, even in a very trolly situation like this. This is kind of telling a story more on the other side of the team, with like Linky and Wizard Boss starting to team up more despite their on and off history in the past. You've still got Connie in there, which was rescued in Salvation from Aiden Gallagher. And then, of course, Spike Ryan, who, despite his attitude towards basically everyone, is trying to tell everyone that he's changed and he's back to his normal, good-hearted self again. But his actions certainly do not reflect what he's trying to tell everybody. And yeah, just every week there's just something about Spike Ryan that just doesn't add up. And when he's trying to tell everyone he's a changed and good-hearted person again and trying to make amends with everybody, his actions don't really align up to what he's trying to say there. And then our main event of Scars and Stripes 2026 was a doozy. Let me tell you, it was Nathan Moore and Rogue FAFO taking on Psycho T and Grem. And this was FAFO, the former tag team champions, and they teamed up, who are on a very impressive tag team streak in season 3. Let me take a look and see here. Yeah, they are 4-0. This main event win here put them at 4-0 as a tag team on season 3. So there you go. #1 contenders for the tag belts. They just have to get through that Titan match now. But they get a big win here over the World Heavyweight Champion Psycho T, teaming alongside Grem. And the caveat of this match was that Asterio was the special referee, and this was the talk of the town of I would say probably the key point of the entire show was Asterio's mentality, attitude, and behavior as special referee in this match. She was basically picking apart both sides of this match. There were certainly no favorites in this thing, although she was starting to lean more towards Nathan Moore and Rogue with her history over Grem. There was one point where I believe someone was going for a buckle bomb in the corner, and she, as special referee, stood in front of it to take the bump instead of the person. So she took the brunt of the punishment. There were fast counts. There were slow counts. There were pinfalls, and she was looking at her fingernails. There were more pinfalls. She was looking out and screaming with the crowd. There was nonstop constant trolling from Asterio's special referee here. I loved every bit of it. I wish more special referee simulated matches were like this. It was just awesome. It made this already a really cool 2-on-2 match just more of a main event caliber, and what a great way to end off the show for sure. You've got 2 stories, actually 3 stories to tell here in this one match. You've got Nathan Moore and Rogue continuing to show their dominance as a tag team unit as they climb up the ranks for those tag belts here with the win. You've also got Psycho T as world champion, and whom everybody thinks is the next person in line to get the shot at the world title, teaming together in a losing effort, which makes it even more interesting when you look at the title rankings right now. It is actually Rogue, Nathan Moore, and Grem as your top 3 for Psycho T. So that just adds another layer onto this match that is certainly intriguing, not the other eye, as Grem said earlier. And then, of course, you have the third and final story of this thing, which was Asterio and her personal take and just taking liberties out on everybody in this match, because obviously she's not been the same ever since losing that women's title to Celestia. She's definitely been on a downturn in her career right now. And what a great way to just take it out on everybody in this main event match and just make everybody pay and suffer is Asterio. And that's certainly what she did. But eventually the match had to come to a close, and it was Nathan Rogue picking up the win to end off the night. Of course, Maggie Moore was at ringside as well, not to be dismissed, of course. But that was your card for Scars and Stripes. It is now August, so we start our road towards Altar of Pain, the QuakeCon inspired PLE event for CPW, the last Tuesday of August, which will be Tuesday, August 25th. We head towards that road, and I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of really good stuff coming up for that event after the result of what we saw here, for sure. Before I pass it on, if I were to give match of the night, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of us pick the same. Probably not, but I'm going to just go with the obvious choice, and that's the main event. That special referee match, the AI of the special ref was just something cool I've never seen before with the simulation of an AI referee. Certainly, we've seen special ref matches before where there's maybe a little bit of hijinks happening, and it was just like a one-spot cool moment, but this was like constant. It was like every couple of minutes Asterio was doing something to troll somebody, and that was really cool. I really loved to witness that match, and everybody seemed to enjoy watching that one. So that's what I would go with for match of the night. Grem, I'll pass it over to you now to unpack anything, discuss anything. What was your match of the night, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I certainly wasn't feeling very friendly after this one. Like,
No, not even on International Friendship Day.
No. I miss. You should have had this pay-per-view today instead of the podcast. It was awesome to see Jimmy Zaz get a chance for the Cruiserweight Championship. I thought that was really nice and neat. I know he hasn't really been doing much, but it was fun. It was also fun to see Piranha again. I will continue to do this on this podcast until it finally happens, but Barry Bones needs a match. All right, there it is. I've said my piece again.
Do you think that maybe there was a reason he didn't put his title on the line was because you mentioned that last podcast?
Well, then it's going to continue on, and he's never going to have another match in CPW ever again, because I'm going to keep going until it happens. No, you kind of hit everything pretty much on the head. The Zozokin match was kind of intriguing, and did not think it was going to go that way. I really thought that Zozokin was going to win that match. The Deputy Dog match against Queen Sabi. Queen Sabi's actually been really, really good this season. So I was kind of surprised that Deputy Dog did get the win, but it's great for the corporation. The corporation. Sumo losing the TV title to Feats. Well, I don't want to say that's an upset, but at the same time too,
I completely skipped that match.
Wow, the only one that a title holder I don't think retained, but okay, sure, we'll just continue. Yeah, missed that one completely.
Well, sorry, Feats, if you're listening, my bad. I completely missed that match. 3-star match rating, by the way. I'll let Grim continue.
Yeah, I don't think that's much of an upset, but I mean, it just shows on how good the character Feats has been. He's had his ups and downs, but he's a very solid competitor in the ring. So I don't feel like it's more or less something against Sumo, but more or less just Feats just taking an opportunity again to finally get another championship around his waist. Match of the night for me, actually, and it's funny because I know Azur's probably going to pick this one, but I am going to pick that Azurain match against Lady Lavin, and I'm going to also suggest that maybe, just maybe, Lady Lavin needs a shot at the Women's Championship after that. She put in one heck of a performance, and I know I'm not going to spoil it, but I already kind of think I know what's going to be said here in a few moments. But Lady Lavin did put on a clinic in terms of trying to hang in there, showing her stamina. Maybe it's all those naps that she has, that she's so energized and that she can go like the Energizer Bunny. But I'm going to say that was my match of the night. I really enjoyed watching that because at times we're like, oh my gosh, she could do it. She could do it. But at the same time, too, I also want to kind of throw it to our listeners as well, because most of them are CPW listeners. I know a lot of this was done, the card was done through the site and how it was built, and showing them one contenders and everything. So for our viewers, what did you guys think? Did you guys think that this was a fair assessment to use the number one contenders or what was on the website? For title matches like this? Let us know what you guys thought of that. At the same time too, I had one other thought and I completely lost it while I was trying to promote the website, because the website is, oh yes, now I remember, yes, the website. Hopefully when we do this next podcast, we will have 7 instead of 5 still when it comes to the rankings. Because the reason why I say that is because when I was looking at the rankings and everything, I see a lot of greens. You don't get to see a lot of reds. And I want to see potentially who might have gone down more spots, and they might be sitting at 6 or 7. But it would be kind of neat to see, because I know you said you were going to probably change it to 7.
I will.
Yeah. But I think it'd be more fun to see more new or green or even some more red arrows, just to kind of see how the landscape of CPW is changing show after show. It doesn't matter if you're in a PLE or not. If you're raking up wins on 2 out of 3 nights when it comes to the Tuesday Night Toxic, that can change how your character is moving up on these rankings or going down. So I think it would be a nice little thing to kind of add and see the 7 thing, just to get a little bit more people to see where their characters are kind of going, whether it's trending up or down, and then also seeing people that were like, oh yeah, I forgot so and so was on the roster here. Yeah, they're doing pretty good, and maybe they should take on Barry Bones for that knockout or the Iron Knuckle Championship. Excuse me.
All right, Azarain, what is that move that Snorlax does where he goes to sleep but his health bar completely recharges after 2 turns?
That would be rest.
So, how does it feel to face Lady Lavin after she picked rest and then woke up to fight you and Alessandra and Miles Wildmore for the Kappa title last Tuesday?
Well, I thought it was actually a really interesting match, having Lady Lavin just kind of put it on and just have a pure 6 brawl with everyone. She just would not go down. I mean, at one point, my character even torpedoed her in the taint, and she did not go down from that.
She was an unstoppable Snorlax, that's for sure.
She was an absolute menace. And we all know that eventually all things come to an end. Eventually my group will lose the Tappa title. To whom, we don't know yet. But in the meanwhile, we're going to have some fun while we're doing it. So that's the whole thing with the Unholy Union. We're just having fun. We know we're going to lose it eventually. We don't care. And I could be saying all this in the voice, but I'm just trying to give my opinions on this rather than my characters. I also agree that Barry Bones needs a match. We need to see some Iron Knuckle matches.
Thank
more
you.
People in the Iron Knuckle division. I see Butcher Pete, Bethany, Burnsy, Leo Reigns, and Patrick Rader. Let's get someone else in there too. Let's get some power. Let's get some punches. Domino would fit in there, I think.
I think he actually is in there, but you know, we're only up to 5, so you know.
Yeah, if we were at 7, maybe we would have seen that.
Yeah, I think he is probably 6 or 7.
6, 7. Anyways, absolutely. We need to see some more Iron Knuckle. We need to see that bare knuckle boxing. Just absolute fun. My pick for the match of the night, though, is going to be the main event. Just the way that Asterial took complete control of the match and said, I don't care what you guys are doing. This is my show. Even in character, my character would say Asterial absolutely owned the show because she did the one thing that he's always telling you to. Take control. And just the people kind of just bumping into her, and she eventually got tired of it and just started putting on her own show. And then just standing in the corner. No, you can't have this corner. No, you can't have that pin. No, I'm not going to count this. Okay, I'm going to count this slow. It was just an upending of
cinema.
A main event.
It was cinema.
Yes, absolute cinema. So, overall, great show. Absolutely loved it. I want to see more heavyweight tag team matches. It'd have been funny to see Alessandra go against the women's champion that night and have our first dual champion, because Alessandra right now is sitting at number 1 at 5-0. If she would have fought Celesta and won, she technically would have been our very first CPW 2 title holder, holding the Kappa champion and the women's champion at the same time.
That is true. There's only been a briefcase holder and a title holder. There's never been a title and a title holder.
Indeed. So that's what I'm that's what I was kind of hoping for to happen. That never did happen because Alessandra did have a match already, but
And
I'm not
Celestia had the
gonna
night
complain.
off.
Yeah. So between that, looking at the things, seeing Morsel at the top of the hardcore champion, there's another chance for a dual champion there. Mr. Cantot at number 1 right now in the Kappa champion title ship. Another chance at a dual title holder. So there is history in the making on the list there for the first 2-time champion in the series. And I'm just trying to push it. I want that history. I want it pushed. So
Well, I mean, you guys are looking pretty good. I mean, you're number 3 for tag team. You got Alessandra number 1 for the women's. You're number 2 for the international. You got Miles in there, number 2 for the TV title and the cruiserweight title. You're currently Kappa champions. So
and
you're all over the leaderboard.
In terms of leaderboard as well, number 1 longest winning streak, Azure Reign at 8. With the Kappa title, by the way, only to be defeated by the Zombie. And then most wins, again, Azure Reign. Where we are at the top of the list. We are currently dominating. But that doesn't mean anything, because anything can happen at any time. And I live for the chaos, and that's why I don't even care if I win or lose. The chaos is the most important part. The hilarity of me kicking someone in the taint, and then I get DDT'd or something like that and lose over something so silly and stupid. It's cinema. It's beautiful. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
I completely agree. I love the fact that we have these champion title. Well, I just love everything. Like you've got rankings on top of rankings, stats on top of rankings, rankings on top of stats, and it's instantaneous once the newest show gets plugged in. So you can see the green arrows up, red arrows down, the gray equals. You've got the new symbols for people climbing up the board. This is great. I love it. It's absolutely amazing. And yes, I will be adding the 6-7 additions to each of the titles as well.
Just one more thing I'm going to say before I dip out. The only reason you're looking at a title shot there, Gremmy boy, is because I am currently tied up in several other titles. Otherwise, you would be no one still.
Ooh,
I'm not so sure about the no one part, but when you take on Barry Bones for the Iron Knuckle Championship, let me know how that one goes, okay? And then you can come back to the World Heavyweight Championship title run, you know.
In the words of Kefka, expect me.
Everywhere. Azurain in every single title division.
Yeah, pretty much.
Azurain on all 10 title things.
1 through 7, Azurain.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's a epitome of expect me right there. All right, well, that'll conclude our CPW report. It's going to be real interesting seeing what happens moving through the month of August. We have 3 shows to prepare for Altar of Pain this year. We just already knowing what happened last Tuesday at Scars and Stripes and how the leaderboards are shaping out right here. You can probably get kind of an idea of how the landscape's moving forwards, but that's going to be the fun of these build-up shows on Tuesday Toxic moving forward for these next 3 weeks, is to see some of these these number 1s take on these number 2s, or these number 3s take on these number 4s, and see how the rankings change based on those matches and stuff each week. That's a really cool thing about everything that has been integrated into this website as you follow along each month. But yeah, that was your CPW report. We'll be back next week to talk about what happened this week in the first week of August for CPW, the aftermath of Scars and Stripes, as we are now 22 days, 20 hours, 34 minutes away from Altar of Pain on August 25th. Okay, our last segment of the podcast for this week is our Croakitoad Stream Team call out and shout out. And we're just going to quickly go through these real quick. This is what you guys have all been streaming this week. So we'll give shout outs to everybody as part of the Croakitoad Stream Team on Twitch. Starting from the very top, we've got Lone Star 82, who's playing some Minecraft, Resident Evil 2, and Words on stream. We have I Am Daniel McGee playing some Fortnite, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. We had Puddle Duck 22, aka Buttons, doing some Water Park Simulator. We had Coke Soda Can coming in with some Modern Warfare 2 2022 version. Roxas 997 was playing some Funnel Runners, Peak, and Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. We had Hype 9/11 2003 or 4. I think it's 4. Playing some Mecha Chameleon, Dodge Brawl, Peak, and Golf with Your Friends. Sounds like a typical multiplayer night right there. We had Lucinda still playing some Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remastered or Resynced, however you want to call it. I've been catching a few of those streams here this past week. Looks like a lot of fun. There was one particular moment I was in Lucinda's stream, and she was absolutely raging at a certain moment. And I remember putting in the chat because I was working on other stuff while listening in the background. I said, that's the Lucinda I know. And I got a little chuckle out of her. That was really fun. Glad you're still enjoying that Black Flag Resynced. I can't wait to dive into that. No pun intended. Dark Sage Ron was playing some Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. We had R.E. Kitten playing some Marbles on stream, Peak, Repo, Power World, Retro Rewind, Video Store Simulator, Resident Evil 4, and had a stream anniversary marathon that went on for 21 hours. She was celebrating her Twitch anniversary this past week. We had Feed Speeds Games doing some Dino Crisis, TRLEs, of course, and some more Thief Gold. How close are you getting to that Thief Gold now, Feats? You got to be getting closer. Maybe you did finish it. Let us know in the comments. Maggie, Puerto Rican Chipmunk, was playing some World of Warcraft, some Peak, and Resident Evil 3. How are you liking that Nemesis chasing after you, Maggie? We had Nate. Nope, it's Nate enjoying that brand new computer, testing it out with also some World of Warcraft. I guess they were playing together. Nate and Maggie playing some WoW together. Aw, how cute. So we'll have potentially 2 more players on WoW when we begin that inevitable WoW month that we've been talking about doing for 4 years now.
Yeah, in 2095 or something.
Yeah. Where Nick Aldis and Gunther will still be shaking hands.
Yes, be buddies.
We also had Celestia streaming, knocking the cobwebs off the Twitch channel to celebrate her Twitch anniversary, playing some Minecraft Dungeons. Super awesome. Unfortunately, I missed it because it took place on last week's podcast, so I missed the entirety of the stream. But I was able to catch it on VOD, and I was so happy to see Celestia stream again, playing one of her favorite games and celebrating her Twitch anniversary as well. And I'm glad that you had a good stream, and a lot of the Croakitoad community came over to congratulate you on your Twitch anniversary, Celestia. Very proud of you. Okay, we had the Chain TV playing some Rune Factory 4 Special. And then we had Necro playing some Gunsmith Simulator, Drive Beyond Horizons. We had Urkamus doing some Shift at Midnight, Ground Zero, Resident Evil 3, and Resident Evil 2. Patrick's Raider was playing some The Evil Within. We had Zozakin coming in to play Not for Broadcast in Operation Tango. We had Burnsy doing some 007 First Light. Wonder what he was doing jumping back on that again. I thought he had already finished that. And speaking of 007 First Light, its Pocket was also playing 007 First Light. That is a game that I keep talking about every week that I want to play, and I have not done it yet. Disco Bunny came back again. Good to see her back in the streaming world, playing some Echoes of Encrad. I probably butchered that name. Q the Stupidity was back, and she was playing some Tomb Raider Chronicles and Strange Horticulture on her channel. We had JoJo Spud playing some 10 Dead Doves. I messed that up. Doves. I said doves last week.
Yes, you did.
10 Dead Doves. 10 Dead Doves.
Yes.
Try saying that 10 times fast. Haha. We have Honey coming back to streaming again. Haven't seen her streaming in a bit. Playing some Dark Souls 3, some Gris, and just chatting. Lilu Horrors was back with more of her indie collection. She was playing Slashers, The Panic Room, House of Secrets, Granny Remake, that's a fun one, Night Project, and the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, why would you want to go and do that? Then we had an Atomic Bomb 1980, who was playing some Metroid Prime Remastered, Wolf Youngblood, and Heroes of Mount Dragon. And then last but not least, we had Mabriel doing some Resident Evil 4, Dead by Daylight, and Fortnite. That is your recap for this week's stream team. And real quick, I'll just go over to the Discord where I asked everyone what they were doing, and I'll just kind of follow up with that. Puddle Duck says, I've not been streaming much. I've been making little fidget toys instead, but I played the new Disney update. It's been kind of fun. And here's Feats to answer my question from earlier, probably. And he says, I finally finished Thief Gold, including the secret bonus mission blooper reel. Started a really cool tier early called Trouble in Paradise. And about halfway through that, switched categories in Dino Crisis to very hard percentage. More of the same on tier earlys in Dino Crisis, and looking to either play Lifeless Moon or revisit I Am Jesus Christ on the variety side of things. That is certainly variety. That definitely Feats, but congratulations on finally beating Thief Gold. Let us know in the comments how you would rate it now that you're done through it. 1 out of 10. I'm very curious because it is definitely a game I would like to try as well. We had Jojo Spud commenting in our Discord server for the stream team saying, I've been addicted to Power World all over again, so much that I bought the TCG and will be playing in a small tournament this Sunday. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that there even was a Power World TCG. I'm sure Azrain knew that, but I didn't. That's really cool, though. Let us know how it went. This Sunday would have been today. So if you're hearing this, Jojo Spud, let us know how it went. Puerto Rican Chipmunk said, I'm going to do some RE3 remake, and Saturday some Solo Peak and DDV. Also World of Warcraft. And Lucinda says, I'm still working on Black Flag. Today we made some more story progress, but I'm going to be busy this next week, so I probably won't have many real progress until the next podcast. Okay. Well, Lucinda will not have any progress this week. So it will be a very quick recap of Lucinda's streams on the next episode, I'm sure. All right, with that being said, it's time to end it off with our last and final segment we like to do, and that is reveal our streamer of the week based on everyone's streaming performance throughout the past 7 days, the last week. And we are actually going to drop a 2-time winner here again. How many times does that happen now? 3 times. Someone has won twice. Now we can make that 4 times, because winning this week's streamer of the week is going to go to RE Kitten 137. Hand clap sound effects. I'm glad we didn't get the crickets this time, like last week. There you go. There you go. Last week we revealed it for hype, and he misclicked and the crickets were going. I was like, oh, that's great. That's great. He didn't say anything about it, so I guess he hasn't heard the podcast yet. But nevertheless, RE Kitten, congratulations on being a 2-time winner. The last time RE Kitten won, looking at our trusty dusty Croakitoad.com streamer of the week page, she was the 3rd-time winner, winning back at March 16th. And her first win was because she celebrated her cat Riku's birthday, and she was celebrating her Twitch affiliate anniversary while playing Peak, Resident Evil Requiem Marbles on Steam, and Fields of Mystria. So this past week, she was doing a 21-hour marathon, and this was, I guess, for a streamed channel marathon when she started her stream her Twitch channel rather than affiliate. So there you go. 2 events back to back for you, RE Kitten, for winning the Croakitoad Stream Team Streamer of the Week. Congratulations on your 2nd win here at Croakitoad. And for everyone else on the stream team, I hope you continue to achieve your goals and aspirations, streaming, completing those games out there, having fun on multiplayer with your communities. And thank you all for being a part of the Croakitoad stream team and Croakitoad community. I appreciate it very much. We're going to end it off with our very last segment of the podcast, and that is to reveal this week's clip of the week, which comes from our streamer of the week, RE Kitten 137. She was playing Repo during her 21-hour stream, and this is a little clip from that.
Good shit, guys.
Have you guys seen the Odyssey?
We can. Not yet. Have you seen it yet?
You Odyssey these nuts.
I want to see the Odyssey. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Really? That's something that I would say. I love how she just runs off after she tells the punchline too. Here, let me do this.
Hey-oh!
There you go. Ought to see these nuts. I have not actually seen that yet. But maybe someday I will. Congratulations, Ari Kitten, on Streamer of the Week. And thank you, everyone, for listening here on episode 22 of our podcast. Remember to drop those hashtags for the GTA 6 giveaway on Spotify and YouTube. They both count as entries each week. The hashtag is Candy Sucks with 3 X's. Candy Sucks, the awesome character from the original GTA Vice City. So drop those in the comments, and we will see you next week. Grem, do you have anything left to end us off with?
Well, on National Friendship Day, everyone stay radical and stay radical to each other. And thank you again for tuning in to this podcast 22. Podcasts is episode 12. I know we didn't do that in the beginning, but that's okay. But again, thank you everyone for tuning in and listening to us. We really do. It means a lot to us. So we really do appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us. And we'll be back for 23 next week.
Yep. 23 next week, where Gunther and Nick Aldis will still be shaking hands, and I'll be able to talk about I'll be able to talk about all of my experiences at QuakeCon, because I'll be fresh right back home from it this upcoming Sunday.
Where Nick and Gunther are going to be right at QuakeCon, shaking hands right in front of you. Probably.
Amazing! I hope so. I hope they do that at the BYOC. Nice. I would love that. They get up on the main stage and just do that. Just continue the handshake. The handshake heard around the world. Just every time you see them, they're just still handshaking. That should be the next gimmick. Azarain, thanks for joining us again. I believe this is your second time here on the podcast, and you might be more of a mainstay here for future episodes. You did a great job on the first one. You did another fantastic job tonight. Thanks for joining us, and do you have any parting thoughts?
Just that everyone stays awesome and stays beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.
Aw, what a great send-off for International Friends Day. That's so nice. So uncharacteristic of you, but so nice. I think Gunther and Nick Aldis would approve of that message, by the way.
Yeah, maybe they're right behind him shaking hands.
Maybe they're all three shaking hands.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, God, they are.
Instead of the Spider-Man pointing meme, it's the Spider-Man handshaking meme.
Their arms are crossed.
Yeah. All right, you guys have a good one. We'll see you next Sunday for the next podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate you all. Much love, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.